Good Thursday morning. It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, who forgot to close his blinds today for the show. So we'll have some scenery behind me, something better looking than me behind me here today. But we don't need any other introduction on looks here, folks. You know him as 17-year NFL veteran, three-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys, who have a big game tonight. Playoff implications on the line against the Lions. Dale Hillstreet's here, everybody.
Finally, a Thursday night game people are looking forward to.
It's going to be a good one.
I mean, are there going to be 54 million people watching again?
Before we get into that, first of all, I think you just shorted the ratings there on Thanksgiving.
You did? I did.
Yeah, I think you shorted it by about 3 million. But winner tonight, 2 of the 4 highest scoring offenses battling it out tonight, Thursday night football. Loser of this game falls down in the playoff chase. Winner, first team out of the playoffs looking forward. Right now they're 1-2 outside looking in as well. So huge playoff implications tonight for this game coming up. But Kobe, before we get started, since you brought it up, throw up the ratings for the weekends. We'll call them special games, right? The holiday games
right
out there. This is straight from Dale Hillstreet's phone, everybody out there. Yeah, 57.2 million for Cowboys. You shorted them by 3 million there, Dale.
57 million people.
Highest rated game in the history of how long they've been calculated.
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw the number. I'm like,
well, look at that first number, Green Bay and Lions.
All of them, and it's like you think, okay, well, what does a World Series game get? What does an NBA championship game get?
So short them by about 30 million at that point.
And no wonder why people are so eager to advertise with NFL, number one. Number two, then I saw this below that. There was comments.
Yeah.
There's the Cowboys again. No, it's the Chiefs. It's all because of the Chiefs.
Well, Bruce Cooper said that too.
Yeah.
I'm going to blame the Chiefs on that. But, okay, I agree with that. Chiefs have a big viewership rating. Cowboys always have a big viewership rating. So that number should be huge. But Green Bay Lions, 47.7 million people woke up that morning and tuned into that game. Now, everywhere else, it's in their eating time. Out here in the West, it's, morning for us, and everybody's things getting ready and stuff like that. That's the shocking number to me.
Right.
And this just goes to show you, stop putting bums against the Cowboys and the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Put good teams against them, and you'll get the ratings.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost 60 million people.
Well, the weird thing is I get it. It's late Thanksgiving night. Everybody's tired. You got Black Friday shopping you're doing.
Yeah.
So I get why the late night, but of all of those 3 games, the Ravens, Bengals, and then it ended up being a blowout, Bengals side, shockingly enough.
Right.
I can understand people not as much paying attention to that one as you did in the other 2. But yeah, no, absolutely strong numbers there. You credit the Cowboys, other people credit the Chiefs. I'm just glad everybody had fun. That's all I'm going to say.
It's just it's amazing how many people watch football.
Seriously, there's 300 million people here in the United States.
Yeah.
And 57 watched one game. At least I was joking with you going, how many of those people turned it on and then fell asleep?
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
And then didn't see a lick of it, but it counts.
It's so funny. My brother was telling me this story. So obviously my parents wanted, when I was playing with the Cowboys, always wanted to eat Thanksgiving dinner an hour before the Cowboy game.
Okay.
So I could sit down and watch it and whatever.
That's early, though. That's like 1 p.m.
Yeah, 1 p.m., 1:30. Because I think we played 3 o'clock there, so it's 2 o'clock here.
They even changed that start of that Packers-Lions game this year. They moved it back a half an hour.
Yeah.
This year compared to normal. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's another caveat in that.
And my brother had a girlfriend at the time, and they invited them all to go to their house. And my dad, I guess, for the whole week was like, I don't want to go. I know the dinner's going to be late. I know that it's not important for them to watch the game. And my brother tells the story.
I got to watch my favorite kid play football today, Mark.
And sure enough, Mark said, got to be about 1:30, 1:45, and the food still wasn't out. My dad's pacing. And finally, they set up a TV tray in front of the TV so he can watch the game and eat.
That's so awesome. That is the frustrating thing about Thanksgiving. It's like everybody goes, we're going to eat at 2.
You never eat it.
So you show up at 2:15 and you're still sitting there for an hour and a half waiting for it to start and stuff like that. It's like, why do you shoot it early? You know, why don't you do it? Why don't you say 4? And then everybody show up around 2. And we'll eat around 4. And then set the expectations where they should be. Then as people stroll. My favorite thing is like my family does potlucks now. You know, so everybody brings something. And inevitably, the person with the most important thing is the person that's an hour late.
Ooh.
So you're all just sitting there eating rolls, waiting for the gravy to show up or turkey to show up, or the ham. You know, just like, what are we doing? They should be the first people here.
We could be a Cracker Barrel right now.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did Cracker Barrel this Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So good. $17.99. You get a lot of crap you're not gonna eat. They gave me a lot of crap. I was not interested in eating, like the cranberry sauce and the stuffing. But the turkey
stuffing. You don't like stuffing?
I can't stand stuffing.
Oh, Steven.
It actually depends how it's made.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like if you have big onion chunks, I have no desire for it. I don't mind onions. I just hate the big chunks. I don't like the texture of them. But that's the problem. It's how you make it that I won't touch. So I just basically stay away from it because I don't want to risk it.
I don't like dry dressing. I like it moist and boy.
We got to put gravy on it, don't you?
Yeah, well, I put gravy on the turkey, the mashed potatoes, and the stuffing.
And we got Lou coming up today at 9 o'clock. I'm excited to ask him what a hit those yams were that he talked about last week.
That's right.
I am not a yams person, but the way he described that, I was like, I would try one of those.
Yeah. I think Lou's a pretty damn good chef from what I've heard over the years.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've heard it from other people besides Lou.
Yeah.
Which tells you that that is good and stuff like that, things to that effect. So, yep, exactly. So there you go. Ratings Thanksgiving. I don't know what else you did on Thanksgiving. You probably had the football games on at that point. I turned on the first game about halfway through the second quarter, and then, I want to say I missed most of the fourth quarter of that Cowboys-Chiefs game. I was busy. I was busy.
What were you? Busy? You couldn't watch it at Cracker Barrel?
I was playing Call of Duty. I was busy.
Could have watched that during the Baltimore game.
Yeah, that's the worst part. The Baltimore, I actually turned that one off early too because I was like, stupid Bengals are going to win. The Ravens are trash. The Ravens fans should be chanting "Fire Harbaugh" like they're doing in. Did you hear Tomlin yesterday? Hey, what about your fans chanting "You should be fired"? I agree with them. We're playing like crap,
right?
It's just so great. I don't know. If Mike Tomlin's available, I don't know. Cardinals, maybe kick the tires on that one. I'm not a Tomlin fan, but I don't know. Maybe kick the tire on it a little bit and see what happens. Because woo-wee, that'd be an upgrade at that point coming up of it, right? So Thursday, Cowboys game tonight. I'm looking forward to this, man. First time Thursday night football. Now you got to have Amazon Prime, Dale. You going to struggle with that like you do Peacock?
I actually have already set that up.
Can you record it?
I don't know if you can record
it. No,
you
can. I know when you log in, if you miss the beginning of it, you can actually go. Problem is you have the commercials,
right?
But you can go. We can watch it either starting live or you can go back from the beginning on Amazon. Because I've had to do it before where I missed the first couple series and I was like start from beginning. But you can't get around the commercials like you can on your DVR. So you're stuck with that as well. But we didn't get to it yesterday. Now, of course, we talked yesterday about Chris Paul treatment. And I told you guys yesterday, I alluded to it on the show. I have a feeling Chris Paul was, holding Clippers players and coaches to a standard that he expected from organizations. That's exactly it. So I'm going to talk about that here. Dale takes off, of course, early today. And I don't understand, and just this is a preview to it here. Monty did this, right? Monty Williams with his players.
Yeah.
Coach Bud did it with one of his players as well, and things. Ty Lue apparently refused to talk to Chris Paul for over a month. How is this? Your job is to coach the team. How are you looking at players and acting like they don't exist on your team when there's only 12 people, Dale? This is dereliction of coaching duties. I lost a lot of respect for Ty Lue yesterday. Ty Lue, You lost my respect, buddy.
Well, what's so interesting about that is
And I love me some Ty Lue.
15 at max. You got 15 guys on the team.
Exactly, up to 15. But usually, I think the minimum you can have is 14 now.
Okay, well,
but yeah,
whatever.
so 12, 14, whatever.
Yeah, well, whatever.
It's not
it
very
is.
many people, Dale.
And I think it's a little bit because it hits so close to home for us, and the fact that that's what we heard went on here with a couple different
Monty
coaches.
and Ayton. It was Bud and Nurkic.
Yeah, and then Monty and Ayton.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you? According to the story I read, that Chris Paul wanted to sit down and talk with him, and Ty Lue said, "Well, maybe next month."
Yeah, he said no. He said no, and then they kind of reschedule it for, maybe I'll have time for you next month.
That just absolutely blows my mind.
As an owner, how are you allowing this? That's his job, is to talk to these players and put them in. If you don't want to play them, don't play them. But sit down and be a man about it. That's my big thing about this. Coaches in the NBA are bigger crybabies than the players are. Ty Lue is a bigger, whiny little biatch than Kawhi Leonard can be, than Chris Paul can be, than James Harden can be, than Bradley Beal can be. Ty Lue's the worst of them.
It certainly looks that way. And then there is the other part that's always fascinating to me, how certain guys can pull it off, certain guys can't. The fact that when Chris Paul was all NBA, and he's a pain in the ass to the other players, and by pain in the ass, I mean pushing
Holding
them
them to a standard.
challenging them, holding them to a standard. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're averaging 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes a game,
you're not playing.
and you're not playing, and you're still have that type of personality.
Well, I mean, a lot of teams got rid of Chris Paul as an All-NBAer because of that attitude. Well, it just goes to show you. I read yesterday that the only person that Kawhi Leonard would talk to was Chris Paul. Kawhi Leonard otherwise doesn't talk to anybody on that team. It's just they let Kawhi Leonard just do what Kawhi Leonard's going to do. And Chris Paul was the only one that would talk to him. I read that yesterday from an NBA guy. But here's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Like, this is how bad the poverty of the Clippers franchise is, Dale. Poverty franchise. One, they got me agreeing with Stephen A. Smith yesterday, which I do not like to do. That guy's opinions are just stupid, ridiculous garbage. And yesterday they got me agreeing with him. So first of all, I hate you for that, Clippers. Hate you for that. But on a serious note here, we talked about this with the Cardinals. This is kind of the transition that I want to make with you here. We talked about this with the Cardinals, with Darius Robinson and other players going, this isn't JG's fault. JG should come back. Our coaching staff could come back. And you called it out just like I was going to call it out. They're comfortable with that locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, Chris Paul walked into that Clippers locker room and said, hey, Kawhi, you should probably play more. Hey, Ty Lue, you should probably coach us better. And the reaction was, we got to get rid of this cancer.
Again, it's not like he's walking into Oklahoma City just coming off a championship with a bunch of young guys. Hey, we need to change things around here.
Yes. He's going to a franchise that's struggling to all hell this year. And he's like, maybe we could do this differently. Let's do this differently. You need to do this differently. You need to be more professional. And the reaction from everybody reportedly is, oh, my God, this guy's horrible.
Well, and what you said is kind of fascinating to me because the Clippers are not a impoverished franchise. They probably the richest owner in basketball.
Oh, no, he is. It is not even close. He's the richest owner in most sports. It's not even close.
It seems to me like they could still be playing in the Los Angeles USC's good gym like they did back in the day.
Yeah.
And instead of this Intuit place that's supposedly state of the art.
Yeah, I mean, nobody goes to those games, by the way.
They're the stepsister of the Lakers.
Even though they're not in the same building now, they still are, yeah. How can you root for a team like that? Is the question, right? But when I say poverty franchise, I'm talking about the way they're run, not their money side. Because Steve Ballmer obviously has zero problem throwing money at large number of players and having them sit out for lengths of a time and not play. I mean, he has no problem doing it. Steve Ballmer just uses the Clippers. What I think Matt Ishbia runs the Suns like. And they're just a tax write-off to his life. Spend as much money as you can, boys, because I need the several $100 million write-off. So spend as much as you can. I don't care. With his cajillion dollars that he owns from that side. Yeah, it's just I just couldn't imagine as an owner. Now I know NBA owners are different. Steve Ballmer's different. But I can't imagine as an owner where I hire a guy and his job is to coach people. And the guy goes, yeah, I'm not going to talk to that guy. I would lose my mind.
Oh, it's unacceptable.
And then a guy walking into a locker room and holding players accountable, saying, we need to get better at this, we need to get better at that. If he's a jerk about it, sit down and tell, hey, you're being a jerk about it, but let's do it this way. But, I mean, I read a story yesterday where he flat out called Ty Lue out and said, nobody cares about your 2016 championship. I guess Ty Lue flaunts it a lot.
Oh, really?
And he goes, nobody cares about your 2016 champion. And Ty Lue came back at him like, nobody cares about your farewell tour. You're the head coach of this team, and you're acting like that?
Yeah. And as the owner.
Bench him, suspend him, pull him aside and have a conversation with him. Look, this isn't acceptable here. You know, what you're doing, we'd like to change it. Instead of saying, I'm not going to speak to you. I just, as an owner, as a GM, I have later on I'll play it, the video of Lawrence Welk, or Lawrence Frank, I guess his name. I call him Lawrence Welk. Lawrence Frank, and he, he talks about this. And
first of all, do you think there's anybody watching who knows who Lawrence Welk is?
No, exactly. That's why I got to be careful when I call him that. Because whose name's Lawrence these days?
Nobody.
There's only one Lawrence guy that you know. It's Lawrence Welk. And half the world doesn't even know who that is anymore. I only know about it because my grandparents do.
Well, yeah, and I had to watch him on Sunday nights or whatever.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
You old people. Yeah. The Clippers just dysfunction city, and the owner's like, yeah, I'm okay with it. Oh, well. Like, I wanted Ty Lue. I wanted the Suns to go get Ty Lue as a head coach. Thank God we dodged that bullet. I liked him a lot as a coach. I've completely changed my opinion on the guy to not want to sit down. Could you imagine? Like, football coaches have like the head coach can avoid a special teams guy and not talk to him because, it doesn't really matter. But I tell you this, the head coach is going to go, hey, special teams coach, go tell that guy to knock it off. And there's going to be a conversation had.
Right.
But we're talking 53 guys. We're talking about, head coaches. We're talking about 12, 14, 15 people on a team. And not only that, a guy in his retirement tour that you re-signed him because of what he's done for your franchise, what he can do for your franchise, and you're siding with the people, Dale, that don't want to play hard. And a coach that obviously doesn't want to coach. You sided with the people that you're paying large money to not do what you hired them for. I don't get it.
And the thing that blows my mind is that we've been up close and personal for two of the situations that happen like this locally. And I was incredulous. I've never, until then, I'd never heard of a player not talking to, especially one of his better players, for months. You're on private planes. You're telling me that the player can't walk up and have a conversation with the coach, or coach walk back and talk to the player. It's just I can understand how it happened.
I can understand a player not wanting to talk to a coach. You want to be a baby, whatever. I can understand that side of it. But a coach, man. And the second a player doesn't talk to a coach, all right, you're on the bench. You're suspended. You're on the bench. You're not playing at all until you want to grow up and talk to me like a human being. But for a coach to do it, it's like, that'd be like you showing up to work today and your boss, you set up a meeting with your boss, and the boss is like, no.
Maybe next month.
You're looking for another job, right? So, and here's the best part of it. So, well, first of all, letting a guy go at midnight is ridiculous. And I don't know if I believe it, but Kawhi Leonard and James Harden were both like, we woke up and saw Chris Paul's post on Twitter. And we were like, what's happening?
Right.
I don't know if I necessarily believe that. But to do it at 11 p.m. and then go, well, the plane was delayed by 6 hours. You still didn't need to do it at 11 p.m. And then they send him home. Here's the best part about this. This is how poverty franchise the Clippers are, Dale. They can't even cut him. They can't afford to cut him because they have to have 14 people on the roster. They literally can't afford to cut him and then bring another player on. It would screw up their salary cap, push him into another apron. So they're just going to pay him to not be there.
They're
is
saying
what
on
they
top
could
of
be.
everything, things weren't very well thought out.
No, not thought out at all. Not thought out at all. This is just terrible.
I'm sorry. You sit down, you have a conversation with him, you hear him out, then you tell him, Chris, that this is how it's going to be, okay, buddy? Hey, you've had a hell of a career. We want to send you off in fashion, but you can't be the jerk that you were 5 years ago when you were going to NBA championships.
And I agree with that, too. That the conversation need to be had.
Yeah. But we're going to sit down and talk, and at the end of the day, we're both going to shake hands, be men, and say, you know what, we can agree to disagree.
Stephen A. had the perfect thing that you do, and you see it all the time in sports. Yeah, you bring him back to L.A., you put up with him for the rest of this road trip, you bring him back to L.A., and then you sit down with him and you go, hey, man, it's not working out. It's not working out.
Right.
We agree it doesn't work out. I think you can agree it's not working out. We love you. We're going to put you up on our rafters someday, for what you did for this franchise. Let's work out a deal. Let's work out a buyout deal. You say you're going to retire, and we move on with our lives. Like, why can't that conversation happen? Right? And if he says no, then you're kind of forced, what you're going to do and stuff like that. But you don't embarrass the guy. Like, one thing I will say about the Cardinals, because there's a lot of parallels in this with the Cardinals, ironically enough, is the Cardinals aren't embarrassing Kyler Murray at all. I mean, I think it's embarrassing making up a foot injury when you take a ball off your face. I think it's embarrassing.
That's still the one thing about this whole thing. I can see him still being hurt or whatever, but a ball off the face and your foot puts you on IR.
Hey, they're not embarrassing him. They're not coming out and be like, we're benching him. They're protecting him and doing that. And you got to respect that a little bit, right? Going into it. And the Clippers are just like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care that you're all-century NBA and a Hall of Famer, and you rebounded this franchise from 2011. I think it was like 2017 or so. You put this franchise on the map, all of that, and we respect you, and we want this to go away amicably. How do we get out of this? Instead, they go and embarrass the guy. That just tells you. Now you got all these other players coming out. I was watching interview after interview yesterday of players that were traded. There was a player, and I don't remember who it was. There was a player that a trade deadline was coming up, and this Lawrence
Welk
guy, it's not his name. That's what I always want to call him. He flat out looked at the player 2 hours before the trade deadline and said, you are not being moved. We are not moving you. 35 minutes later, the guy was traded. It was a Atlanta Hawk, and the guy was like,
"Well, again, number one, why are you saying that? Because obviously his name is being bandied about somehow, some way.
Yes.
So he just didn't call 25 minutes for the first time ever
and make a deal.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll give you these guys for him. No, that's what the kid was saying. The kid was like, he just wasn't honest with you. He wasn't honest with me at all. It's like he wanted to tell me what I wanted to hear, and instead of telling me what I needed to hear, And he gave me. He basically told me I was staying here. So then he's like, I'm relaxed. I'm calling people and being like, hey, that apartment? Let's not rent it out, and all. And then next thing you know, he's a Atlanta Hawk. It just. If you watch football, the way football cuts people most of the time, like I'm actually dismayed Hard Knocks doesn't show it as much as they used to because some teams don't want it shown. They do it professionally. Literally, it's you call the guy in, you sit him down, you have a serious conversation with him, a very matter-of-fact conversation. Hey, it's just not going to work out here. We love your game. I'll support you however you want. But you tell them exactly why. Boom, boom, boom. We'll help you out. Contact this person. We'll help you out. Get you where you got to go. We appreciate your effort. And boom, you move on. Very professional. And it just seems like in basketball, it's not very professional. At least on the Clippers side.
Especially in this situation. And again, I think it holds extra place in my heart because we've seen it happen 2 times here. Especially with when you're talking about the Ayton and Monty thing, because I think most people felt Monty was this bright, shining star.
Autumn to this day, I bring up Monty, and she gets mad at me because I am so negative on Monty from that scenario.
Right, but before that,
here's
this bright, shining star, young guy, affable, friendly to the press, whatever. And then
How is
like,
this guy not worked out?
Yes.
He had problems with Chris Paul, and I think it was Memphis or New Orleans, I think. He had problems with Chris Paul, and he was able to bury those problems to coach him here. And you were just like, oh, my God, he's learned.
Yeah.
All the sayings, everything worth fighting for is on the other side of heart or whatever that garbage crap was from a poster he read and everything. But what turned me against him and what a giant liar he was I was like, how does he not talk to DeAndre Ayton?
Right.
It's disgusting. I don't get it. That's what I'm thinking of here with the Clippers thing. But before you take off here, I'll get back to this here after Dale leaves here. We'll play the Lawrence. I'm never going to get his name right. First of all,
Lawrence
I don't care.
Frank.
How he has a job, I don't know.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you. Like I said, Steve Ballmer is a really, really smart guy. He's not stupid. The Clippers are just a giant write-off for him for his other business ventures.
Well,
that's
but
the only thing it can be.
Okay, so if I'm a head coach, general manager, that's how I'd kind of like it. Hey, you hire
spend
me to
whatever
do
you
a
want.
job. Just let me do my job. Don't be intermingling.
But they're failing.
and all that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so now it's time for him to step in and try and get that right guy in there.
But that's the problem. He doesn't care. Ty Lue's had multiple opportunities to leave for other places, and they just re-sign him.
I mean,
Why are you letting this baseball I don't care who you are as a boss. You don't fire somebody at 11 p.m. unless that's their shift.
Yeah.
Unless they're a night worker. You just don't do that, Dale.
Or if he's coming in off the streets, or if he just got arrested, or
Oh,
it's something would have happened.
Something like that. That's what I mean. Extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
Not because your plane was delayed 6 hours and now you've been inconvenienced in talking to him.
It's just there's just so many things that you shake your head at, and then the one thing you figure out on the other side of it is they do some illegal stuff to pay Kawhi Leonard more.
This is the problem. Yeah, it just and you can't tell me Steve Ballmer's so hands off. This is a guy that I've read that at Microsoft when he ran Microsoft, like he was involved in every detail of everything.
Really?
Like. Somebody had I read a story years ago where it was something like he even got down to the point where if he didn't want something in a vending machine, he would make it known and it would change. Like he was that into details when he was running you don't go from that to where now in the Clippers you go, oh, I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know $70 million of my billions was just being, it's like Ohtani, right? You can't tell me Ohtani wasn't like, hey, I'm missing some money here. Or some accountant where Tony was
maybe
like,
an accountant.
Yeah, but the accountant goes, "Hey man, your translator's taking millions of dollars out of your account last month. Somebody's catching that. And the only way it doesn't get caught is because you're not paying attention to it on purpose." Mm-hmm. Hey, throw up the college football playoff bracket. We didn't get to this yesterday. Some alarming things. I told you this is the setup. They are telling you what they want to happen this weekend, right? I'm shocked Texas Tech is 4. I thought Texas Tech would come in at 5, and that Texas A&M losing obviously screwed this up. But they took Texas A&M, all the way down to 7th with that loss to Texas. They're doing that, folks, because they're going to squeeze Texas into this thing come this week, depending on who loses this weekend. Ohio State, Indiana, I believe the loser of that game, as long as it's a competitive game, the worst place that place is going to fall, that team's going to fall to is 4. They will still have a bye, I firmly believe, unless it's a blowout. And I'm talking about Indiana here because Indiana's probably the loser in this game, right? And I think they're going to fall, worst case, to 4, unless it's just an absolute drubbing.
Right.
They will fall out of it. Texas Tech, if they win, I told you last week, they will have a bye. They signaled that now, obviously, with that happening. Same thing with Georgia. Georgia has to win this SEC championship game against Alabama. Here's what's interesting to me, Dale, if you want to break this down right now. Oregon, they could slide into the top 4. If Georgia loses, they will slide up into it. Alabama will have 3 losses if they lose this weekend. That means Alabama should not and cannot be in the playoffs, folks. You cannot have a 3-loss team in over Miami with 2 losses. Texas with a couple losses.
Well, Texas has 3 also.
Oh, do they have 3? Oh, I thought they had
but 2 to top 10 teams.
Yeah, Ohio State and
and that's where all the controversies come from, because Sarkisian is out there talking, and I can see his point, and I can also see this in the future. If you're not going to get rewarded for going and playing number 1 team in the country at their place early in the season,
that's not why though.
They
lost other games.
They lost other games, but if they played with Louisiana Tech, they win that game. They only have 2 losses.
Yeah,
instead of 3 losses. So,
but that's always been an age-old thing.
But are you going to reward teams for going to play good teams early in the season? Otherwise, you're not going to see those matchups anymore.
I'll tell you this. No, you're not, because the SEC doesn't do that. They cower out of that when they play Chattanooga State, College, Southwest, Yankee.
Each team is going to have a couple of those. What I'm saying is you could have had a third if you're Texas. And believe me, I'm not backing up Texas because I don't like Texas.
Texas really has 3 losses?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's...
Well, no, so if you have 3 losses in this form, this is why they're going to 16, by the way, because those teams will get in. But if Alabama loses this weekend as a 9 seed, I believe the committee's signaling right now, especially if they're not in this game, if Georgia just blows the doors off and wins uncompetitively,
right?
In this game, I believe Alabama's going to drop out. Notre Dame has, well, here's the other side of it. You're rewarding Notre Dame because they're an independent for other than, they lost to Florida State, folks. Notre Dame lost to Florida State by 2 touchdowns.
But now people are saying that was when Florida State hadn't given up yet, and they were still ranked, and
they were on their downfall. They were already on their downfall. Just you didn't know about it. But you can't reward guys, and I agree with Texas on that. I agree with that. But at the same time, you can't have 3. There are enough quality 2-loss teams to get in that playoffs, a la Miami. Miami cannot be left out, and you have a 3-loss Alabama and a 3-loss Texas into that turn, and Miami gets left out with 2 losses.
But here's the thing, though, Steve. Notre Dame's not playing this week.
Yep.
Miami's not playing this week. Are they?
No.
They're not in the ACC.
No, Virginia and Duke.
Yeah.
Due to tiebreakers. Yeah. Oh, my God. If Duke wins that game, you're going to see chaos. You're going to see chaos in the ACC and who gets in.
Right. Oregon's not playing this weekend. No. So therein lies the rub. And people go, we got to do away with championship games. The heck they're going to do away with championship games because that's millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Championship games will hurt you. Look at BYU. BYU wins this weekend. I believe they make the top 12.
And does Texas Tech stay in?
They do, but they won't be a top 14.
Yeah.
If you're in the top 4, you cannot go to 12. Even if you lose 700-0. There's no way in heck you can fall out of the top 12 if you're, in the top 4 going into this now, which is what they're signaling at that point. Then you got the Ole Miss questions. Ole Miss dropped with the rumors of Lane Kiffin leaving them. They dropped a spot last week. This week, with Lane Kiffin actually leaving and the offensive staff leaving, they moved up 2 spots? 1 spot? What? It's because the committee got so much backlash for moving him down that the committee went, oh, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that. We probably should keep them up because it's still the same talent and stuff to that effect that they're dealing with. So, I'm just saying, if you're Miami and you get left out in a 3-loss Alabama and a 3-loss Texas gets in, this is a travesty and an absolute joke of a system if that happens in my eyes.
Well, don't you think that if Alabama loses by more than a touchdown to Georgia that they don't make it?
Yeah, isn't it funny how Alabama is like the team that's the example last year?
Yeah.
They got left out and everybody lost their mind. We got to go to 16 because the SEC was so mad Alabama got knocked out. Yeah, I know. The worst thing to happen to Alabama, and I'll be honest with you, is they're going to this championship game. Texas A&M losing not only just screwed them with a first-round bye, but they're also have screwed their conference, meaning Alabama, in this as well. Because if Alabama does not play this weekend, Alabama's in. And if they lose this weekend, they should drop out, and Miami should jump up.
Now, the other thing is you look at Miami and Notre Dame. I know that's a point of contention. Well, they played on the field.
Yes.
And Miami beat them.
Yeah. There's no reason Miami's not in this top 12, in my opinion. Miami had 2 terrible terrible losses.
Yeah.
Terrible losses.
Mm-mm-mm.
But when you look at the teams in here, there's just no chance that Miami doesn't belong in this game, especially if you have 3-loss teams. Miami is better than any 3-loss team that you have on this. Even Alabama losing this weekend. I'm sorry, you get hurt. You play an extra game. That's your pittance. Blame Texas A&M, SEC, for losing that game last week and screwing Alabama. Don't blame the system.
Hey,
Blame your
is
team.
there any way we can get the Wildcats to move up from 18?
No,
No?
they don't play this weekend.
Dang it.
Dale, get out of here. Go do your Holmberg shtick.
I will do that. You enjoy the rest of your time alone, and then with Lou, make sure you say hello. Find out how Thanksgiving dinner went.
Oh, that's the first question I'm going to ask,
Okay.
of course. I'm curious. I want to know what time the first I hate you. You're a bastard. came out.
Wow. And I did know there's nothing wrong with the lights on your car, by the way.
What does that mean?
That you posted on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you did. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You agree with Joe?
Smoking Joe.
My buddy Joe. I have a conclusion to that. Maybe the boss called and told me to take it to another shop, and he doesn't know what Joe's problem is. We'll have some fun with that probably. Lou's coming up at the top of the hour. Come on back, folks. I got this Lawrence Frank video that he's doing, trying to excuse his move that he made with Chris Paul. So come on back, folks. The main event. And we're back here, the main event. Oh, now they're scurrying. You guys, the mics won't pick you guys up. Lou and Dale over here yakking and getting caught up over Thanksgiving holiday. I got you guys set up here until we get Lou in at the top of the hour coming up here. But, I mean, this whole playoff bracket thing, it's just, look, I get it. We always argue. Even when it goes to 16 at some point, you know, we're going to argue over the 16th, 17th person to get in. It doesn't matter where you go. And really quick, Lou, he went out that door. Went out that door there to the elevators. Oh, all right. Anyway, sorry, folks. Lou's running around here crazy, and I thought I'd help him out here. But we're always going to argue over who doesn't get in. But when it's 12 here, it just makes sense to me that guys with 2 losses, you know, should get in over a team with 3 losses. I don't care that you play an extra game. It's your fault. Blame Texas A&M. You're playing this extra game as well. And yeah, Texas Longhorns at 9-3. I have the same problem. Miami is better. Even that, Miami is ranked higher than Texas is right now. Miami's 12th according to these rankings. Texas A&M, Texas Longhorns are 13th in this rating as well. Right now, Alabama's 9. They're going to fall if they lose this weekend onto that. So it's the question that you asked. But, you know, that's why BYU has to win this weekend. They're ranked 11th, you know, to get into this tournament. And if they win, they're in. Texas, you'll have 2 Big 12 teams in this next week if BYU can pull out that win at that point. Because BYU only has 1 loss. Now, I will tell you this. They go down to 2 losses. So why aren't you including BYU in the 2-loss scenario? Same issue I have with Alabama. BYU, unfortunately, because they play in the Big 12, are 11th right now. If they lose this weekend, even if it's a close game, you're going to need some other upsets to happen. The other question mark is in the ACC. Duke, due to tiebreakers, which is the biggest joke of all these tiebreakers these conferences have. Duke is in this ACC championship game. I don't think it's going to happen, but Virginia is going to get into this tournament because they win the ACC. God forbid Duke wins this thing and gets into the top 12. This is the problem with the system going into this thing. And you can say right now, well, we can go to 16. Like I said, right now, in terms of 16th, the USC Trojans are 16, Virginia Cavaliers are 17th, Arizona Wildcats are 18th. So we'd be arguing about those spots. Which one of those teams deserves to get in, right, compared to that? USC has 3 losses. Utah Utes have 2 losses, folks, and Utah's looked good throughout this year, right? They're 15th right now. So if it was 16, Texas Longhorns have 3 losses. Once you look at Utah ahead of that, and I get it, you're looking at 2-3, and you can argue, SEC's better than the Big 12, and blah, 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 blah. Hey, it's the system, man. I don't care, SEC. You have 3 losses. You have 3 losses. I don't care. It's the systems and the rules that you put in place. Deal with it. Crybabies. I hate the SEC and their dominance and crybabying about stuff like that. Let's get back to the Chris Paul thing really quick here and wrap this up. This is just a disgusting move that the Clippers have done in my eyes. One, to treat a Hall of Famer. And here's the problem. Superstars rarely leave the game on their terms. It's usually ugly when they leave. Right? Michael Jordan to the Washington Wizards, for instance. Now, that was an ownership thing, but, Michael Jordan to the Washington Wizards. I mean, you can go through baseball, right? I mean, here locally, Diamondbacks, right? Local legend, Luis Gonzalez gets mad at the Diamondbacks, ends up at the Dodgers and just pilfers there, right? And is not his normal self. How many football players? Emmitt Smith to the Cardinals to finish his career. It rarely ends good for superstars in the league. And like I said, it could have been handled better by the Clippers and things to that effect. But I want to focus on his official title. Let me look this up here so I have his official title here because it's lengthy title here for Lawrence Frank. Like I said, I'm going to call him Lawrence Welk about 1,000 times. But I don't know why. I don't know any other Lawrences. I don't know why I have struggled with Lawrence Frank. But he's the president of basketball operations for the Clippers is his official title. He goes on to SportsCenter or goes on to one of these ESPN sites to justify his telling a legend of the sport of basketball that they re-signed this year for his retirement tour. Legend of the Clippers, folks. Chris Paul put the Clippers back on the map when he played for them. Made him a playoff contender, all of that stuff out there. And he goes out there to justify him, telling him to go home at 11 p.m. in a 3-hour meeting, all of that stuff. Here's Lawrence Frank talking about Chris Paul.
We did not make this move because of our underperformance. He had nothing to do with that. I take full responsibility for our record. We are not scapegoating Chris Paul. We have many issues, and we're going to address each issue for our underperformance. But I do want to make it clear, we have great respect for Chris, for the career that he's had, and for his impact on the organization, what he did to help transform the franchise, and we're not blaming him for our underperformance. This decision had nothing to do with one incident or one meeting that did or did not happen. Some of our business, respectfully, I have to keep in-house, but this didn't come down to, just a one incident, one meeting. It just wasn't the right fit.
You guys believe that? I'll leave it up to you guys to decide if you believe that or not. Clippers, poverty franchise in terms of, like I said, not money-wise, but just in terms of their operation. They're inconsiderate. Go and search it. Look at all the other Clippers players that have been there throughout the years, and they're coming out and talking about that cat right there, right? Lawrence Frank. He's going to be wanted known as Lawrence Welk coming up, so he's not known out there in the world and stuff like that. They're horrible business people. They're horrible communicators, and they're just a-holes, and they don't treat people properly in the Clippers organization. Like I said, Stephen A. Smith put out succinctly yesterday. You do it the professional way. You let him come back. You don't fly to Atlanta. The plane's delayed 6 hours and then meet with him at 11 p.m. You can wait till the sun rises to have this conversation with Chris Paul. But you let him come back to L.A., you call him in, and you say, hey, it's not working out. If it's not working out, it's not working out. I get it. The players of the Clippers run that place. Players of the Clippers don't want to play hard. Players on the Clippers don't want to play. They want to have their rest. They want to have their contracts outside of the NBA, and they're happy with it there. Ty Lue just wants to be left alone and suck and have a terrible record and not coach his players and not talk to people. That's the system that the Clippers want. And they chose that system by telling Chris Paul it's not a fit. You bring him back to L.A., you tell him, hey, it's not working out. We're going with the laziness of our players and our head coach being a giant baby and not wanting to talk to players. We're choosing that avenue as our organization instead of you who wants to hold people accountable and be better. So what we need to do is we need to work on a buyout offer. It's your choice. We can do a buyout offer for you, and you can move on to another team for the rest of the year. A buyout offer that helps us as Clippers and, of course, allows you to go to another team. Or we can pay you for the rest of the year, and you announce your retirement right now. And you do it behind closed doors privately. Give him his decision, whichever one he decides, and you make good with it. Instead, you go out there and you purposely embarrass a guy in the middle of the night that's a Hall of Famer. Even if you're not a Hall of Famer, that's a garbage way to treat the 15th man on your squad as well. As I said, that's like going into work today and your boss is like, hey, sorry, my plane was delayed. Can you come back at 10 p.m. tonight and we can have a discussion? Just disgusting what the Clippers are doing. And like I said, I can't believe I was a big Ty Lue fan. I think Ty Lue was a phenomenal head coach in this league. I was always on. I wanted the Suns to hire him at one point. Go steal him from the Clippers, and he kept re-signing with the Clippers. Now we know why. Steve Ballmer and Lawrence Frank allows Ty Lue to not talk to his players and not coach his team. He's just collecting his millions of dollars and not doing his job and failing at it, no less, as he goes into that side. Things like that. Yeah, hey, Kobe, throw on Lue's microphone, because I have a feeling Lue has a problem with what I'm saying. You're good, Lue?
Hello. And
hey, Lue.
The only thing I have to say is, no, I know nothing of what you're talking about except that I want that job.
Yeah, exactly. Pay me millions of dollars.
To do nothing and be incompetent.
So, I know you're not
I'm doing
NBA.
most of that right now.
Yeah.
I just need the money.
Exactly. I like that perspective. I didn't think of that. Well, I mean, it's Chris Paul. You know Chris Paul. You're not an NBA guy, but you know Chris Paul.
I don't
legend
know
of the
anything.
game, all-time pro,
Yeah.
going to be a Hall of Famer, all of that stuff. Cantankerous dude, wears out his welcome a lot, but he expects expectations, right? And stuff to that effect. They literally sat him down at 11 p.m. the other day and said, you're no longer on this team. We don't want you here anymore. At 11 p.m. at night. And it was a 3-hour meeting, so it ended at 2 in the morning. To tell a Hall of Famer he's no longer welcome.
Well, they hand it out. They don't say, "Hey, you're gone," and then they sit there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Look at each other.
Well, obviously they were
so
talking.
they hashed stuff out. Whatever. The kid's getting paid. He's been in the league a long time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he saved some of his money.
He was making $50 million a year here at the Sun.
I don't
he has
know
money.
enough about it to comment. I will say that I'm open for anyone that has millions that wants to give it away for a guy that looks stupid and stays out of the way.
Let me put it in a perspective that you will understand here. This would be, let's say an NFL team, just pick any of them out there. Let's say the Chicago Bears, and you find out that Matt Eberflus isn't talking to his star quarterback and refuses to talk to him.
Well, Eberflus in Dallas.
I'm sorry, not Eberflus. Well, Eberflus probably did that, to be honest with you.
The new
Yeah,
coach.
I'm sorry, Johnson, whatever his name is. From Detroit. I know I'm throwing this out and not forgetting. But, I mean, if you hear of a head coach that the player asks for a meeting and the head coach says no, I'm not meeting with you. That's terrible. That's
Well, I'd
terrible
want to know
leadership.
all the context, but yes.
Does it matter what
normally-
the context is?
Well, yeah, it does. What if the coach is in a limo on his wife
No.
on the way to his wife's funeral, and the guy's calling him saying, I got to meet you right
No,
now.
no.
The coach
Oh,
going to say,
okay.
no, I can't.
I'll put it this
Going
way.
to a funeral.
I'll put it this way. They haven't talked in over a month.
Well, so if there's
And
that,
they play in games, Lou. They
is
have
it the-
games.
Is it every player?
No, just him.
Just this player?
That we know of. Yeah.
And what team is this?
The Clippers. LA
Oh,
Clippers.
okay, basketball again. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
But I'm just saying, if
I was
you,
going to
if you,
say,
that's
if
what
you
I'm saying,
told me
though.
the Packers, I was going to be
Well,
astonished.
no, but that's what I'm saying. If you heard that the Packers head coach wasn't talking to one of their players that asked for a meeting for a whole month, you'd be concerned about that, wouldn't
I
you?
think there'd be a real sickness. Yes,
Yeah.
because I know just in my sport, I got to be in a huddle from the 60s to the 90s, so
Yeah.
4 decades. I'm proud of that. Anyway, that's family. That's real close. So I don't get all of that.
Yeah, it's just baffling how this works out and all that. I'm impressed. I thought you were going to rip me, Lou. I'm glad you didn't.
No, I'm happy not to. You do too much good for me. I appreciate you let me. And not only that, I bounce in a little early.
Oh, no. Hop on in. Here's my question for you. We're going to obviously talk NFL coming up for you. But I can't say enough about tonight's Thursday night football game. I'm just giddy for it tonight.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be? As an NFL fan, you're getting a playoff type game because really the team that loses this game is going to be mathematically troubled. I'd say less than 10%,
Okay.
6, 8, 10%.
I have the stats for you on this. So,
Oh, good.
so according to ESPN now, if the Lions playoff profitability, here's what we're talking about. If the Lions lose tonight, they still have a 20% chance to make the playoffs. If the Cowboys
More than
lose,
I would have thought.
if the Cowboys lose, 9%.
9, yeah. I would have thought it would have been that for each,
Yeah.
but there must be.
Well, right now the Cowboys only have a 21% chance to make the playoffs going into this game. The Lions have 42. That has to do with division.
The Cowboys are on their
tiebreakers.
4th game in 17 days.
Yeah, but you said that last Thursday, and they dominated.
I said they
that
were on
Chiefs
their
game.
3rd and 10, which
That's
is
what I'm
even
saying.
worse,
I-
to be honest. And look how they
Yes.
perform. So what I'm saying now is I might be beginning to believe. I mean,
Yeah. Well, look at their schedule after tonight.
if
the
they
Cowboys
can win this
out.
game, that momentum may be stupid, and the momentum has carried them three games in 10
Yeah.
days. That's hard to do. I
So-
faded the Cowboys in game 2 and 3, so I have a couple losses there on that. But if I am just afraid I jump on them now, they go down. But if they win
blame Lou.
if they win this game. They've got some serious momentum. I would say, and I heard this on Gil Alexander's show on VSiN coming in. I totally agree with it. You want a nice long little price to put $5 on and win a couple hundred maybe? Dak Prescott MVP, because if Dallas wins tonight and they keep doing what
And they
they're
win
doing
out.
with this Pickens and everything, Dak's numbers already are through the roof. If they roll and the way the Cowboys are loved, you might have to get out of the way of the train. And
Yeah.
I'm I have the under 8.5 big. I've been throwing roses on their grave for 7 weeks. Now all of a sudden I got a big, huge lump in my throat.
Yeah,
We're gonna see what happens.
I picked them for under 6.5 to begin the season. And
6.5. Well,
6.5 is what I got them at. Yeah. Yeah.
6. Did you bet them
I thought
after they were 0-1 or 0-2?
I thought they'd be terrible.
Oh, well, then you got great odds on under 6.5.
Well,
Because I got under 8.5. I
Yeah.
paid like 130.
oh,
so
I'm sorry. Cowboys was 7.5 is what I got.
7.5.
Yeah, I'm
then
sorry,
you got
not
plus
6.5.
money on that.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
yes.
Well, that's why you take it, right? And I thought they'd be terrible with Schottenheimer and the
Well,
makeup
they
of this
still
team.
could. Let's
and-
see what happens.
Well,
We don't know.
We're right on that edge. Right on that
But
edge.
right now, that's a team that's dangerous because they believe, and when a
Well,
team believes, get out of the
After
way.
tonight, their schedule gets really easier for them, so they could win out after tonight, and that's what's amazing. So ESPN's odds, if they win tonight to make the playoffs,
Who's? Dallas?
the Lions and Dallas. Here, I'll give you
Okay.
both of them. I have to cheat here real quick.
The Lions are going to be
Lions,
68.
if they win, are 55% chance
Okay,
to make
and
the
the
playoffs.
Cowboys would be what?
39
To make the playoffs.
to make the playoffs if
Okay.
they win tonight.
Huh.
So
I
the
think that's a
Cowboys'
little
odds
low.
don't get much better now.
Oh yeah, they do. They go from
Well,
8
no,
on a loss. To,
it's they're underdogs now, and it's not like they jump up to being favorites to make the playoffs if they win tonight.
No, they've
but they have
dug
to
too
stay
much of a
alive.
hole.
Yeah, that's the problem. The other side of this is the winner tonight. Panthers are still in this mix in terms of playoffs, with their 7-4 record. I think they'll falter at the end. I think the winner of tonight's game, is setting themselves up. Now they still have to overcome the 49ers, Packers, Seahawks, which I think is going to be kind of a tough thing to do here. But the winner of tonight still doesn't even make it into the playoffs. They're still on the outside looking in. They're still in that last spot. So that's how important this game is tonight. You're just winning tonight, Lou, to stay in that 8th spot and hopes that somebody falters and you can pass them going forward. So that's why this is an important game. That's why I'm completely looking. It's our first taste of playoff football.
Oh no, I would say Kansas City and who'd they play last week? That was a playoff game.
That was the Cowboys.
The boys. That was a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's why ratings were what they were.
Yeah.
That was
57 million people.
That's ridiculous.
But even
half a Super Bowl audience, and a Super Bowl audience is worldwide.
And that was the most watched ever of an NFL game right there. 57.
How about that?
But even the Green Bay Detroit game was 47.7 million, if I remember correctly. So I mean, it's crazy what levels you're at that point. I mean, the Chiefs right now. The Chiefs are in serious trouble with that loss last week. To make the play. They're in the 10th spot. They're behind the Steelers and then the Texans, who are red hot right now as well. So when we come back here, we get our segment started officially with Lou. UFC's back this week as well. Is this the Apex one this week, Lou?
Yeah, no, this is T-Mobile with UFC
T-Mobile.
323.
That's right. This
so
is
we
the
get a big
numbered one.
crowd and a full cage.
Absolutely. 2 fights left, folks, in this year of UFC. You've already seen it if you're watching anything at all. You're seeing the UFC switches to Paramount next year. Any of those CBS shows are obviously having serious ads here on this coming up. So this will be the last pay-per-view event for UFC this weekend with this fight coming up. We'll talk to Lou about that, set it up. Some big fights coming up in this one as well. Divishvili and Yan, number 2 fight. We'll talk about that and, of course, get more into tonight's game with Lou and look ahead to this weekend's actions. We got some teams eliminated. I'm curious on if there's some play here with some teams that have been eliminated in the NFL with matchups this weekend. So go ahead.
And I'm going to have a tease for you because I have a future bet that I'm making right now, and I just want to make it.
Is.
I want to make it before Steve gets done, but I'm going to share it on the other side.
Lou wants to get the numbers, folks, before.
I'm just saying.
kidding.
I'm going to take.
Come on back, folks. It's all coming your way with the second hour main event here on Thursdays with Uncle Lou.
Me too.
I was just telling Lou. I just looked it up. I did have
we're on.
Cowboys under 6.5. That was that one, and that was the one I was most confident in that I placed the bet on, and in the preseason under battle there. I also and I did this as like a just in case situation. with Pete Carroll being at the Raiders, I went over 6.5 on the Raiders. Boy, do I look like an idiot for doing that now.
I used alternate over 6.5 on the Raiders and over 6.5 with Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I gave that to client. That's a loser.
Oh, you
already.
know, that's why I have that bet then. Yeah,
Yes.
it's because of Lou. That's why I have that bet. Yeah.
I'm sure it could be, and I'm going to take responsibility for him because when my winners come up, should I win a couple of them, I'm not going to be shy.
Well,
to
I
announce
thought
them.
Pete Carroll would improve that Raiders team, you know, and then also Atlanta. Everybody had Atlanta.
Well,
know,
Pete
winning that
Carroll took
division or being
over
close
a
to
grease
it.
fire, and it's still a grease fire. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of ears in Davis's. There's a lot of mouths in Davis's ear over there. I go up there once a month for these panels. One of the guys I sit with, Ken Thompson's a Raider reporter up there, so he's spoon feeding me stuff. There's a lot of voices up there.
It's okay. We'll talk about that off air because I have a theory on Mark Davis. And by the way, second hour main event, humble host Stephen McCollum, Uncle Lou, Visa Network, of course, contributor, and then Gamblu.com
Yes,
as
thank
well.
you.
We'll do your intro in a minute.
Yeah, later,
and we'll talk NFL and more
we
in
don't
depth
have to
coming
do
up.
that every week, so we're good.
But Mark Davis, and I have a theory on him.
All right.
Mark Davis doesn't care if his team wins or loses. He's not going to spend the money. You want to know why? That stadium sells out regardless because the visiting fans come to Vegas and they sell out that stadium. Where the Raiders could have no
Oh,
talent on that
baby.
team. He could care less about winning, Lou. Just feed me my billions of dollars.
I can't comment whether he wants to win or not. I do know this, and you should know better, because we live in Phoenix. And I was here in the 80s when Green Bay came and played St. Louis Cardinals at Tempe Stadium when they were talking about moving
them.
the St. Louis Cardinals to Phoenix. That's how long I've been here. And I remember when we got a pro team and we would go to the games, and here's
Visiting
what
teams.
we saw.
Yeah.
We saw 25% Cardinal fans
No.
and everyone else. And when it was a
If you're
Dallas
lucky.
game,
Yeah.
it was stupid. It was
Yeah.
a Dallas Super Bowl,
And
and
the
there
Car-
would be a little
Yeah.
thing up of red up in the corner.
And the Cardinals
would be
were
the
actually
Cardinal
good
fans.
when they got here, too, and you still had that problem. Yeah. I understand that's part of it, but Vegas, it's even worse. Vegas, like, Cardinals have problems selling tickets. Like, I can tell you right now, like, the Atlanta game's coming up. If you have season tickets, you want to unload them, good luck. Because there's no Atlanta fans here. You saw that with Jacksonville. Those teams will sell out that stadium. And also, as you know,
If the Cardinals were
casinos-
good, they'd have no problem
Well,
putting butts
yeah.
in seats.
But that's the difference. The casinos give tickets. They own a bunch of tickets. They give tickets to high rollers. They give tickets to people spending money with them. People fly there to obviously spend time in Vegas and watch their team play.
Oh,
It's just. You're right.
That's a natural.
I may be too harsh saying he doesn't want to win. I'm just saying. I get the impression Mark Davis,
saying
in my opinion, Mark Davis is like I can put an extra $10 million into my team, or I can just pocket that money because I'm going to sell out regardless.
Yeah, he owns part of the Aces as well, but you're
And he's successful there.
yeah. I can't comment on any of that except that that Raider Stadium is an easy ploy because here's the other thing. If you're a Raider fan, once you go there and deal with the brain damage of getting in and out of it for a game, you're never going back.
It's terrible.
The touristas don't mind, and when they go home, they're like, "Yeah, that was so much fun. That's a great stadium." But
You park-
man,
you park at
getting
the-
to and from is
you
brain
park at the
damage.
Luxor and you walk across that bridge to
Yeah,
get over.
I
That's the
don't mind
easiest
a
way to
walk.
do it.
I stay at the South Point. We go in their limo and go into a private drive, and go right up to their suite, and holy moly, is that nice! Now I only have been able to do that once, but
Bragger.
once was enough. Yeah, I know that. And well, now you go that way. I'll never go the other way.
That's the problem.
I'll
You
never-
spoiled
I'm
yourself
polluted.
now. You're
I'm
like
polluted.
walk across this bridge. What?
No, I don't mind a walk. I'm on this big diet anyway. I need
I
a
know
walk.
you started the diet. Before we get into anything here, your Thanksgiving, you really sold your cooking of those yams. You know, the way you were cooking that Thanksgiving meal. How'd that turn out for everything?
It really turned out great. Everything was hot, and the toughest thing for me is that damn gravy because you got a bird that needs to be cut. I got green bean casserole and yams in the oven, and I'm jacking, and I'm trying to get the dressing out of the bird. And I'm jacking with gravy, so there's a lot of arms. So it came out hot. It came out good. The bird was great. It's simple. I love the dressing, and The family did great. We had no dessert, and we didn't
Yeah,
need
you
dessert.
said no dessert. Nobody cared?
Nobody, my mother-in-law brought a pie, and I told her to give it to Cole, my son, because I don't want to open the fridge and see a pie there for a week when I'm eating nothing but
Nothing
beans
leftovers.
and
How much leftovers did you have?
I had one full plate the next day that I
Yeah.
did eat, and I had the dressing, the mashed potatoes, the white
See,
meat, and the gravy.
It always
my
cracks
bread
me
and
up because
butter.
on Friday we went to the ASU U of A game, and
Yes.
everything, and do your bragging. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, for a year, it's ours. But then what's going to happen? And here's my question. It's a legit question.
Yeah.
When's one of these teams going to win a home game?
Yeah, well, that's the issue. The last three.
And
Yeah.
not only that, at least we didn't get in a mascot fight where the devil started spinning the Wilbur's head in circles.
That was so great.
That's one of the greatest.
But I was
things
headed
I've
to
ever
that
seen.
game on Friday, and we stopped at a Mexican food place on our way. Right, we're like, let's eat before we get to the stadium. Blah blah blah.
Oh, beautiful.
Dude,
Was it good?
Every place we went, every place we drove by, just no restaurants had anybody. And I was like, and everybody's like, this is weird. And I was like, everybody's at home eating leftovers, probably.
You mean the
type of a
restaurants
thing.
were empty?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh,
we walked.
man,
we were
what-
like 3 people in. We went to Macayo's, and there were like 3 people in there on a Friday night at like 4 p.m.
Sheesh, that's when I want to go there.
I know, it was like, what?
And Macayo's
Usually
not
it's bad.
bad.
Yeah, it's a little greasy, but it ain't too
It's not
terrible.
bad.
It's a
you
little on the
know.
greasy side.
It's better than Taco Bell.
I'll say this: the family sold out of Macayo's. If you don't know that, it was family owned for decades. They sold out, and the company that bought them hasn't ruined them yet, which is good to see. Because my biggest problem in life right now is all these private equity firms buying companies like Subway and then and Jimmy John's, and they shrink everything and they charge you through the roof, and they're just ruining everything. These private equity companies.
I don't go to any
stuff
chain
like
restaurant.
that,
I don't go.
so-
I go to local independent
We were-
joints.
we
and
were going to, but-
Rosita's. I want to
Yeah,
mention
Rosita's, yeah.
Rosita's on 22nd Street. We've met there.
Yeah, I love that.
You
place.
want authentic Sonoran Mexican food?
No, I agree with you. It was just we were on the way to the game. We were just trying to.
Oh
find
no, I
something
get that.
quick
That
off
you're
the freeway.
and
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I
I'd
would
rather not
choose
go there.
Macayo's over a burger joint or Wings is up there though. I do like
Oh
wings.
yeah,
but
good wing. Where's a good wing place for you these days? Because I'm finding wing places. The good ones are gone now. The ones that I really liked are gone now. At least out in my neighborhood. And so I'm struggling to find a good, solid wing place now that's consistent and has good meaty wings.
Well, there are many
not outrageous.
opinions, but mine
That's good, yours.
lay down, hands down, is a bar called JT's on 52nd Street and Indian School
done
Road in the border of Scottsdale and Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in there I order them double dipped, which means they
You like them
cook
juicy.
them on a, they cook them on a they cook them on a grill, deep fry them, put them back on the grill, sauce them, and then they come to you. But no, they're dry. If you they
So they
grill
cook it with
them
the sauce first, and then they put the sauce back on.
on the grill,
Okay,
and
yeah.
that dries it
That
out.
dries it
because-
out,
And I like them dry, and I order my extra crispy.
To me, there's nothing worse than it comes out and you're just digging through the sauce because it's all runny. And
Oh,
that's
I
just-
gotta have all that. I want it messy, man.
I'm a germaphobe, and I don't like.
Oh
getting dirty
no,
sometimes.
man! Give me that, give me that slop and a piece of bread to
3
mop
days
it
later,
up.
you're like, what? Wait, what's that?
No, that's when you use. And here's another great little place on Indian School Road here in Phoenix, called
And now
the
you
Angry
forgot it.
Crab.
Oh, angry crab.
And the Angry
Yeah, those
Crab,
everywhere.
I'm telling you what, it's like Cajun, and they do a good
They
job
bring
of
the
it.
bucket out for you.
But the best thing about it is when you go after you've eaten and you're all slopped out, you walk over and they have literally a sink
Yeah.
trough.
yeah.
And it's wide and deep, and you get in and they got paper towels, and you damn near, I seen guys taking a bath in the thing. I mean, it's that big. You wash off and you go back. It's beautiful.
My problem with crab, I love crab. My problem with it is you have to work so dang hard to eat it.
Well, I eat the shrimp. I eat a barbecued shrimp with a corn on the cob and all
Yeah.
kinds of hunk of sausage.
Yeah.
And I'm so eager to talk about food because I
know.
haven't eaten any. It's,
Because it's on the diet, I'm bringing it up now.
no,
I'm
it's all.
bringing it up right
I
now.
don't. That doesn't bother me a bit.
No, I just wanted to make sure Thanksgiving because you sold
It
it
was
well. I was
great.
thinking about you on Thursday watching the games, and I was like, oh, Lou's probably just in heaven right now.
Right as
watching
the
this
second game started. is when
But
we
so
ate.
at 2:30ish.
2:30ish, yes. Yeah. And that's great. It's just then afterwards, and I really did good about taking, but when you take a small portion of that many things, you end up with a big plate.
Well, that's the
anyway.
problem. Your plate's overfilling, right, and stuff like that. I just don't know if I can do. I can't do normal days without a piece of pumpkin pie. Like I always have a pumpkin pie laying around. I love me.
Oh,
some
do
of
you?
that.
Well, you know what? I commend you because that's delicious pie. So's pecan pie.
Oh, you're a pecan guy. No, it's,
I
to
have
me,
a
it's-
pecan tree in my backyard and make my own pies in a smoker.
For me, it's just apple and pecan and pumpkin pie are my
Pumpkin.
two favorites. I can eat those year round.
Any pie. You give me any kind of pie, I'll eat. I love pie. That joint up north on the I-17.
the pie place, the Rock.
When-
what's it called? I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah,
Is it
Rockside
City?
Cafe
Yeah,
or
Rock City
something
or
like
something.
that.
Yeah, you come in southbound on
Now you
I-17.
spend $30
it's on
bucks
your
on a
right.
pie, but let me tell you, that's a pie. That's a pie.
It's amazing to see. Well, let's do it. I know we don't have to do the intros every time, but we're down to 2 UFC fights left.
Yep.
But more importantly, it's the time of giving. We had Bruce Cooper in on Tuesday, and they hit records on their Turkey Tuesday that they do. He's been doing it for 30 years and come with a bunch of entities out there, Bashas', Food City, Channel 12.
Oh, cool.
Doing all that stuff, hit record numbers, and I want to continue that if we can, Lou. So tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes.
And of course, what it means to work with you and invest with you as well, and all of that.
So Gamblu.com is the webpage. We're in December now, and so Gamblu is going to be, and everything about me is banded on the top, where you see testimonials, mission statement, all that stuff, to make me look like a polished corporate guy. And in fact, that I'm not. I'm just independent businessman. But what I do is invest in NFL, UFC, College World Series, and NHL playoffs. Those are the 4 sports I specialize in. I do 2 podcasts dedicated to the UFC, and Kobe's good enough to scroll down, let you take a look at my webpage. You can see my credentialed media stuff.
I like the picture differences on everybody's media passes. It
Well,
cracks me up.
you send your own in. I get cued on some of them. And so for the first 2 years that the webpage has been, this webpage has been active 2 years after I had one for 10 years. And so a long story short, we used the webpage to invest in and pay for the costs of the Gamblu webpage, which have now been satisfied. And so now our only sole purpose is to provide winners. This year, they're going to be provided free of charge. In the last 2 years, there was a paywall on the College World Series, the NHL, and the UFC. No longer. NFL's different. It's in its own category, and those interested in NFL can go to the consulting tab. But at the bottom line is, next year, everything's going to be available on the front page. We're going to tally just like I would normally for clients publicly. And I think that extra edge of being public and transparent is going to shock me into a good year, because I'm currently about 8 units down in the UFC on the year. And that's very unusual. It doesn't happen often, but it is happening. Now I have I'm coming off 3.5 unit win last week. I have 2 cards left, and I'm holding an Aspinall ticket that if he's the champ January 1, there's 5.3 units there. So
a huge one.
I have a chance to try and negate that. And sometimes, oftentimes, when you run a business, it's important to maximize profit when you can, but it's also when times are tough, you have to minimize loss. And so what I'm trying to do now is get myself to 0. I can live with 0 or a couple units after 45 events, even though I don't want to. Yeah. But I can't live with doubling down. All of a sudden, I'm down 20 or 25 units. I see guys that bet 20 units on one UFC card. I'm way more conservative than that. Nonetheless, Gamblu.com. And near and dear to our heart, we're donation friendly to the San Xavier mission. It's the oldest mission in the state of Arizona and the United States, as a matter of fact. And part of our proceeds the last 2 years have gone to the mission, and they will continue to go to the mission and another cause we'll talk about when we get into 2026. Thanks so
Absolutely.
much, Steve, for
Yeah.
letting me say all
So,
that.
so that's the big announcement here that you're going beyond the paywall and everything except for NFL. So back to the
correct.
free system for you and stuff like that. So you guys want to follow Gamblu.com if you're into investing, and if you're just listening, like I know a few of you, I have several people reach out to me and they don't gamble, but they like the way you look at the sport, and it gives them kind of bragging rights when they talk to their people out there. Of course, pay attention to Gamblu.com going into this new year.
Or if you want to just listen to some strong thoughts and you want to
Yes.
argue with me, or as long as it's done in a respectful manner, I get fans all the time don't like and do like what I say. I'm totally open to feedback.
So you have that Aspinall ticket. I mean,
Yes.
it's a winner, but I do have a question.
Yeah, based on how it's still alive.
Well, exactly. Well, and he's not going to fight again, obviously, the rest of the year, right?
Rest of the year, yes.
That's what I mean. The rest-
That's a winning ticket.
Yeah, that's a winning ticket.
Yes.
Except for the fact, doesn't he have to have eye surgery?
We're waiting to find all that
Yeah,
out.
okay,
His eye is
There's no
is screwed
danger
up.
of the UFC taking the title away from him or anything like that if he's going to be out for a long time before the end of the year.
I don't know. I do know this.
I don't think they would, but
I know
it's the
we're not
UFC.
going to know anything before January
Okay,
1, and
yeah.
that's all the F I care about.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
on 12/31 of 25, that day goes when 1/1 starts, Aspinall will be your UFC champ, and we will win that bet. That
Yeah.
was how the bet was set up. And we did it in January. Did I know all this was going to happen? No. We greased out of that Gane fight, to be honest with you, because Aspinall looked like he had a tough fight on his hands. So it happened but Gane is a notorious eye poker, and so is Imavov. And you know what those two have in common? They fight out of the same gym. And that's what this thing's getting to a big stink now, because ex-fighters and fighters, even Henry Cejudo fighting this week, says, hey, come on, man, you just got to immediately take points or you're not going to stop it. They do it. They take advantage. They don't get harmed in any way. They get warned, and then they have advantage in the fight. It don't take Stephen Hawking to figure it out.
So because I thought about you on this Aspinall situation, because now he's saying he has to have eye surgery. He's
He
calling out
may
the
have to.
UFC.
His eyes are
Yeah.
effed up. Yeah.
He's got 3 fights left. I looked this up. This is how in depth I got thinking about you, Lou. He went 3 fights left on his current contract. I don't know what it takes to get out of a current contract, or if it does or it doesn't. But it looks to me like Aspinall's just had enough of the UFC with this eye situation and stuff like that. So that's just kind of where I thought of you, of like, will something squirrely happen where
That's not the
Aspinall-
case, though. No,
Okay.
here's the truth. Aspinall's been dying to be UFC champ his whole life.
Okay.
He's disappointed in the fact that Dana White, who cares nothing about the athlete,
Yeah.
the UFC regards their athletes like hanging meat, and we've talked about this. And so he doesn't care. He feigns like he does when he needs something, but he just wants Aspinall in there so he can get on with heavyweight fights. He don't care about the eye or nothing else. Aspinall's realizing that now and coming to terms with it. So what happens by way of estrangement in January, February, and March, I will monitor, I guarantee you. But right now, all I care about is what happens on 12/31.
But that's why I thought of you. Is I was like, is there a danger of Dana White pulling all right, you want to play this game? You're stripped of your title, and that'll be like December 27th. or
He's absolutely capable of that. I just can't see it happening
Okay.
before the 31st.
That's why I
But
thought
I've
of
been
you.
su-
Was
I've
Dana
been
White doing a little
surprised
thing?
before,
Yeah.
and here's a news flash. I've been wrong before.
Right. I don't know. That's why I thought of you. Obviously, I don't think it would happen either, but it just the way it's going right now with him speaking out the way he is and doing all that, I could just see, end of the year kind of a jerk move there by
No, if he-
by Dana White at the end of the year. It has nothing to do with the bet. Obviously, Dana White's not thinking about the bets. It's more of a, how dare you talk to me like that?
No, White's got guys talking to him way worse than that. Aspinall would be 10th on his list. He's putting the White House card together.
The favorites this year, according to your blog there on your website.
Yes, I'm glad you looked at that.
311, 150, and 15, which makes it about, I'm going to trust your math here, 65.3%.
That's exactly what
so
it
that's just a couple points higher than the normal average of 63.
Yes, sir.
Out there as well. So last year it was super high, right? The favorites
Really high,
Yeah,
71,
yeah.
72. It was
So
obtuse.
they've got to back down to. I'm gonna call it
but
the normal
not to
levels.
what normal. So
Yeah.
is this the new normal? Because if it is, it's gonna force me into further adjustments. This year, I had to play a few more chalk parlays, favorites
Yeah.
together to make a plus number. But and you can see if you check my results, I'm about 43% wins because I bet underdogs. Well, 43, you turn that around, that's 57. So I'm a little bit ahead of what the rated dogs are realizing in the USC, but not enough to make me profitable in units. So I'm going to have to make adjustments in this upcoming year. And the good news is that after these two cards, I'll have a full month to be able to tweak my database, get my act together, review last year's numbers, and see where I can try and improve over next year, because next year I'm going to have the benefit of being public. And so my webpage is going to have stuff available to anyone that wants to use it and look at it. And I'm going to tabulate results week by week. So to me, that adds way more pressure than just working with clients. But the responsibility with the clients was I'd like to see them win on their investment. And this year they may not. And that's not ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's big changes here coming for Gamblu.com. So pay attention to that here after these next couple fights. But this week, before we get into the NFL, UFC 323, their T-Mobile Arena. Last pay-per-view fight before we go to the Paramount card, where there'll be no pay-per-views coming up at that point and everything. And then next week, you have a Apex fight coming up as well for the last two come up here. But this fight here has some fighters on it, Lou, coming up here. You got two yawns, by the way. You just gotta
You do.
Don't
Good
bet
way
on the
to
wrong
go.
yawn. Is what we'll talk about here.
Yeah, maybe.
But in terms of being a numbered fight here, you got early prelims, you got regular prelims here. I'm going to leave it to you and the early prelims, and tell us, is there an early prelim fight or a couple that we should pay attention to going into this weekend side of things before we get into the prelims and the main card?
This week I coded my model here so that I know what are the early prelim fights and the regular prelims. So let's start with early prelims. And actually, early prelims are fire.
Really?
They're
Okay.
fire. Now, the first one, Abdul Malik against Trocoli. The only interest in Trocoli, the guy's a 2x4, and he's going to get killed. But he's boyfriend to Mackenzie Dern, who just won the strawweight title.
Mm-hmm.
And Mackenzie Dern is a beautiful young American-Brazilian young lady who is a champion fighter, but also looks good on a surfboard. The next fight, let's go about here's a Iwo Baranowski, a Polish vice grip wrestler, gonna fight a guy from Turkey, Ibo Aslan. We got Iwo against Ibo, and that's gonna be a killer fight. Aslan is big and huge and hulking and slow as a glacier. He's got some power and decent grappling. I don't know much about this Polish Baranowski, but he opens a -150, and currently, I don't have my screen up right now. He's 185, I bet.
185, yes, sir.
Bingo. So
185 favorite.
how about that? I'd rather be lucky than good. So Baranowski is a guy that I'm interested in. I don't think I can bet on a guy that I've never seen fight before, especially when he's the favorite, but I'll be watching that one.
Well, the over-under on this fight's 1.5. This is a light heavyweight bout, right? Over-under's 1.5.
Yeah.
The under is -195.
Yeah,
so,
with a wrestler, I'd tend to go over. That might be the angle in that fight. I think a guy might finish another guy, but this could be two polar bears dancing at the high school prom all night, slow and just mugging and ugly. It could be. But here's one that won't be. Another early prelim fight. The Hillman from Tajikistan. His name is Muhammad Naimov. He's a 145-pound vice grip wrestler, aggressive, wild man from the Borneo. He's fighting this other long, cool, smooth, slick, highly athletic, highly dangerous Myron Santos from Brazil, who needs a little more space, won't want it in close and uptight. Naimov will. This will be a sensational fight, and Santos is getting bet up into the plus 260 or so range.
Minus 258 right now on draft. We use DraftKings on the show
Oh, good.
for
Then I'll
UFC guys, just so you know. So 258 right now. He's a favorite, Santos.
Perfect. So I'll try and find that while we're speaking. So there's two fights. Barboza and Turner, couple of strikers. Somebody gets knocked out. Barboza, now 40 years old, fighting against a guy, Turner, 39, I should say, that's 30 years old. Turner is coming back out of retirement, and I think they're kind of giving him a setup fight because Barboza's made for him.
Minus 325 for Turner right now.
That's pretty much for early prelims. Now we segue from early prelims to just the regular prelims.
All free, by the way. This portion of the card is free if you don't want to pay the $80 for the last time for the main event. So these early prelims, you're saying don't miss them.
Yeah, these are good fights.
So you can watch these for free, just so you know.
So the early prelims are Fight Pass.
Yes.
These prelims, the middle, the meat of the sandwich, that you'll get that on ESPN Plus or maybe even ESPN. You'll get those trying to hook you into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, with the championship games, I'm not sure, but possible. Yeah.
So, but and what time those are? I want to say 4:00.
I tell you right here. First fight is because it's 8 p.m. because of our time frame here. 5 o'clock. Yeah, 4:45. Excuse me. 4:15 is the first.
4:15 Mountain.
Our time.
4:15 Mountain.
Phoenix
so that
time.
So that means 3:15,
Pacific.
5:15, and 7:15.
Yeah.
So there's your times. If you're Pacific PST, just because I think in terms of PST, that's all I can go. Okay, so now we're in the regular prelims, no matter what time they start. And let me tell you, they got some good fights here too. The regular prelims, styles make fights. Manuel Torres, a Mexican fighter from Chihuahua, now training at TriStar in Canada. Why would he do that? Because he needs to pick up wrestling and he knows it. But you don't learn wrestling overnight. Torres is a cold-blooded striking killer. Knees, elbows, 1-2, and his 1-2 isn't 1-2 like Barbie. His 1-2 is straight down the pipe, and if it hits you, you're out. Ask Drew Dober in his last fight. This dude, Torres, is a bad hombre, but he's susceptible to wrestlers. Who's he fighting? A guy in Grant Dawson that's an absolute vice grip wrestler, developed, experienced in the division, fights out of AT&T in Florida, gym where he gets unbelievable amounts of competition from every size, shape, color, and ethnicity of athlete you could possibly think of with every fighting style. So Grant comes fully prepared for what Torres is going to do, and Torres is coming fully prepared for what Grant's going to do. Which one's going to win? Well, Dawson's favored, and I tend to think that he's going to be a little bit too much for Torres, who doesn't have the wrestling, even though he's addressing it. And the fighters all, when they address it, they learn so much, so quick. But wrestlers like Dawson, this dude was wrestling, he's in the second grade. That lifetime of wrestling can't be overcome in a camp or two. And so I'm going to lean to Dawson in the fight.
Dawson's minus 218 favorites on this, and I find it interesting. Torres has that knockout power, and you say Dawson, can obviously take him out. Does Dawson have the knockout power as well?
No,
if he can
Dawson doesn't have the hands and can't stand with Torres. That being said, Dawson 3 fights ago was fighting King Green, Bobby Green. Bobby Green don't have any more power than I do. But he has a snappy jab, and Dawson went to attack him when Green unleashed a jab, hit him, and knocked him out in the first round. So with wrestlers, what you get besides all the unrelenting forward pressure, determination, cardio, strong as an ox, never quit, they struggle with taking shots and giving shots. It's the last development or evolution in their mixed martial arts weaponry. And Dawson has been knocked out. Does that mean he's going to get knocked? No. But it's what Torres is going to want to do because Torres does not want to wrestle with
the reason why I'm asking is obviously Dawson's a 218 favorite according to DraftKings going into this.
I'm looking at the
over
same
under 1.5. The under 1.5 is minus 135, which tells you somebody thinks somebody's getting knocked out early, or possibly a submission if it's
Yeah.
a wrestling technique.
Yeah, I know
that's why
they-
I was asking that question on
They're
Dawson.
saying Torres is going to find Dawson coming in,
Mm-hmm.
or Dawson's going to get him to the ground and get his arms around his neck and submit him.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. Now, I tend to lean the other. I plus 10 was, so let's see.
Plus 105 to the over.
Yeah, but here's where I go.
Yeah, it's interesting styles here, and then I saw those numbers, and it just kind of raised my eyebrows, like, on what you're looking for,
Round props. Okay, so let's go to starts round. So I'm just gonna. What's Dawson and what's his name to
Torres.
Torres? What is he to start round 2? Because I know what 1.5 is. Fight to start round 2 minus 145. That's a farm bet. You know what a farm bet is?
Tell everybody what it, because I don't know.
It's bet the farm. That's
Bet
what that
the
is.
farm.
That's what that is right there. Bet the farm.
There we
That
go,
fight's
folks.
starting round 2.
Yeah, perfect for that. Now that is going to be the last fight in the prelim side. There, I do want to ask you, Macy Barber, Karine Silva. We've seen both of these ladies. It's a women's flyweight bout here. We've seen both of these ladies before.
What is it with you and these women fights?
I actually remember Silva because you talked at length about
I like
Karine
her.
Silva as well. You liked her a lot. I actually have this written down on my notes, Lou, that you like her a lot. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up with this matchup. I know you like her, and generally, like anything on the ladies' fight, decisions, whatever. But I take note when you. I'll put it this way: you don't talk positively. I shouldn't say it that way. You don't talk glowingly about women's fights too much. So when you do, I take notes of it.
Well, they're often 2.5 rounds over minus 300.
Exactly.
So you're really seeing a lot of skill, maybe some grappling, but you're not seeing violence. 85, 88% of the time, you're not seeing violence, striking, or wobbled knees and excitement. You're seeing, let's go make a sandwich time. And I don't mean to throw shade on them because they're great young people. They work very, very hard. But the fact is there's only 135, 125, and 115 weight class categories. And even in the men under 155, there's fewer knockouts, power there. That's a little more skill, speed, agility, etc. And so while I like watching that, I also track almost every card how many fights are at 170 or above, because those are the ones I want to see, because that's where you get Weak Knee Willie against, King Kong, and one guy puts the other guy to sleep. That's why we watch.
Yeah. No, I get it in that. And also, Lou, I just love the ladies.
And well, let's talk about these two ladies. Macy Barber is really, they called her to the future. She was once like the 1920 and had a great future, but she's had mixed results, some inconsistency. In her last fight, she had a great opportunity against a gal named Blanchfield, who's a top fighter in the division. And right before the fight, she got nerves and backed out. They called it a medical thing, but she's struggled with mental composure right before a fight. She's been inconsistent with that. So there's that. And then this Karine Silva, who I think is an up-and-coming fighter, and she recently lost a fight she shouldn't have to a gal named Araujo. And Araujo, a lot like Barber, mean, aggressive, coming after you. And I don't think the same kind of fighter is going to get the best of her again. And Karine Silva's an underdog in this fight, plus 164.
164,
So I like that a little bit. And I look, 2.5 rounds. Well, the over is minus 260, just what we expected. But you look at points, Silva plus 3.5. So if it goes to decision, and it's either a split decision or the other girl wins 29-28, 29-28, 29-28, and you got a 3-point game or a 3-point decision. Silva plus 3.5, minus 195, 2-1. They don't want you to take that. And so for that reason, that's probably a parlay piece for me somewhere.
Mix it in with another big
that fight's
number
probably
and go.
going to decision, and one girl's going to decision or split decision the other, and you're going to give me 3.5 points. That's one where I can go make my sandwich, come back, see if I won.
At the end, you're right. Hey, Chris Duncan's back in this fight. I like him as a Scottish fighter. Terrence McKinney here, the prelim fight, lightweight bout. here for these guys. Just your opinion, Chris Duncan. The Scotlander there is a minus. Right now, it's changed. He's a minus 148 fighter going into this fight.
And the total is
total
1.5.
is 2.5 actually.
2.5.
Oh, you know what? I apologize.
I was going to say I'm going to have to
I looked at the
stop,
wrong
take a
one.
commercial.
1.5 it is. Yeah.
Yes.
The under is minus 360 in this.
This McKinney is an assassin. He for 6 to 6.5 minutes, McKinney's the most feared, furious, fast, powerful, aggressive fighter you can see. He's got great wrestling, never uses it. However, he tends to, after he blows that out, run out of juice, and he finds a way that the other guy gets him beaten. So the prescription against Terrence McKinney is and when I was talking to John Crouch this week, I was like, hey JC, can Duncan see round 2? That's the question. Can Duncan weather the first round and see round 2? Because, and I love your eye for talent, this Duncan's tough as an old tire iron, a Scottish fighter, comes forward, never stops, never going backwards, but he's not going to be as fast and agile, not going to be as flashy or as powerful on the feet as McKinney. And so he's going to have to weather himself 5 minutes of storm. And if he does, I think he can come out on the other end of the fight. And I do think he can. And I mean, he's a legit favorite. And maybe you look at Duncan inside the distance or some kind of gimmick that way, but you're in against a dangerous hombre. You don't want to miss. This is going to be a great fight, another great stylistic fight.
Okay.
Mostly a well-rounded mixed martial artist with durability and cardio, Duncan, against a really flashy guy in McKinney that if he just learned how to regulate his mind and use his wrestling would be real dangerous. Could McKinney come out and compete and regulate himself into a close fight with Duncan over the long haul? He could, but we just have never seen it.
So we'll just call McKinney the cheetah here. Just a quick burst
That's a good way to put
and
it.
survive it is what you're looking at.
He's
with Duncan
he's that
coming
kind
into
of
this.
guy.
Yeah, I really like Chris Duncan. He's just one of those old school hard nosed. Just no matter how many times you hit him, he still stands there. I don't know if that's good or bad. He just stands there and still continues to fight. And
Well, he's
and
been
all of that,
subbed. He got
so,
subbed
yeah.
by
Just
Manuel
recently.
Torres,
Yeah.
who's on this fight card.
Yeah, it's didn't he? That was no. He won his last fight, so that was a couple fights ago.
A couple
right?
fights ago.
'Cause I
Yeah,
remember
he
there was-
bounced. He come back on a bounce and
there
beat
was one
someone
fight with
good.
Chris Duncan that I was like, maybe I missed. Maybe I don't like this
That was
guy
it. It was
anymore.
Torres because he came out and he was aggressive, and
Yeah.
Torres wrapped him up. And Torres ain't really a sub guy. although he has a-
Let's get through these main cards here and just
Okay.
kind of go through the bottom ones here so we can get to NFL. John Blankowicz, Gogdan Guskov here is the first one coming up. Light heavyweight bout again. This one's basically pick'em, at least the opening odds I think were pick'ems. Now it still kind of is plus 105 for Guskov. Jan is minus 125 right now. Another light heavyweight.
Blankowicz, ex-champion. His last fight was against Blackjack Ulberg, who's like ranked 2 or 3 now, and arguably beat him. His issue is he's 42, and people don't know what to expect, but he tends to get underestimated. He's going to have 2-inch reach advantage here. He's about the same size. Gusov, 9 years the younger man, Uzbeki fighter with good power in his hands. And he's going to try and KO Jan. Jan, I think, needs to take him to the ground here. I think that, Jan, you look at his record. Oh, he's lost his last 2. Who two? Pereira and Ulberg. Come on, world-class guys. I think Jan Blankowicz is live in this fight, and you can get him at a little underdog. I think that's a bargain. Even though he's 42.
Minus 125 right now for him. on
Jan's
DraftKings.
minus 125. He opened minus 150.
Okay.
I
Oh,
still
so
am
coming
not
down.
afraid.
Yeah.
I'm still not afraid.
I love these, over under 2.5s here on these light heavyweights. Minus 145 to the under. Obviously, light heavyweights have the power to knock somebody out on this point. So
They do, and I think that under taint, to me, leans it to the fact that Jan's a little more experienced and might be able to get to a guy that's not quite on his level. And Gusov,
Despise him.
who's stepping up in the fight, is aggressive anyway, and will be coming in, so he could walk into
The
one.
walk into a punch coming through. You got Henry Cejudo and Peyton Talbot in this one. I'm looking forward to this one, even though Talbot is a big favorite, minus 258 for him coming into this fight. Tell me why we watch this one.
Styles. Well, we watch it to see what Henry's going to do.
Yeah,
He's
that's
made
the
known
question,
it's his
right?
retirement fight.
Yeah.
I'm close to the MMA lab here in Phoenix, and there's a friendly rivalry between Phoenix's MMA lab and Scottsdale's Fight Ready, where Cejudo is an owner. So you have to take my comments with a little bit of salt, but Cejudo is not loved from the perspective of where I come from. That said, that doesn't interfere with our ability to assess a fight. And here's the issue here. Henry hasn't fought in a while. His last few fights were decent. He was a recipient of a terrible eye poke his last fight. He's 38 years old, so Talbot's 11 years younger, 6 inches taller, has a 6-inch reach advantage. If Henry gets cute and wants to just make it 15 minutes, he stays on the outside and lets Talbot pick him apart. But if Henry at 38, world-class athlete, two-time Olympian as he is, decides to come and has the ability to wrestle for 15 minutes, he wins his fight as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's what we might see. I regard Henry as live here. We'll see. Talbot and he know each other. They trained together at one point in time when Talbot thought he was retired. Henry gave him all kinds of great life advice and everything. So it's not like these guys hate each other, can't wait to get at each other. But it's fighting, and Talbot's saying, I got to be the one to stop Henry on his retirement fight. And Henry's, who knows? Maybe he just needs to get paid. We'll find out.
That's the question, right? Is he coming back to do this just for the paycheck? Which will affect you, right?
We'll find out Saturday.
Does the weigh-in tell you anything? If Cejudo comes out and struggles a little bit or doesn't look healthy or anything, he'll be fine?
Yes, it would. But he's never struggled at the weight before.
So he's going to be fine at that.
And I'm catching him at better than 2-1. So will I at plus 210 or 220? Will I maybe invest a little in Henry to see what he's got? Because I know what he had. And I know that's still there. And his mind knows. Yeah. But has his mind convinced him to put the tacos down and train for 15 minutes?
That's why I asked about the weight thing. I could see you're retired. You're coming back. This is my last fight. And, you want to win it, obviously, and you're working hard at it, but you're not taking it as serious as you would have 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that applies to everyone except a 2-time Olympic gold medal champion.
That's why he's a 2-time Olympic gold medal champion, and I eat tacos.
We'll see. I mean, we're going to see, but I mean, your question's legit.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that this. I mean, what kind of legacy does he leave? The Triple C.
Well, that's the thing. I doubt he's one guy that I probably wouldn't think would want to. Losing's one thing, but losing and not coming in, chubby, out of shape, and so I don't think he's going to come in that way. But that just
he looked decent in his last fight against
something to just watch on the way in, as if he's looks a little bit heavier. I don't know. It just
I've been watching it all week.
The guy that says he's retiring just worries me a little bit.
I don't blame you a bit
on that side. Brandon Moreno, Tatsuro Taira.
Tatsuro Taira. Taira, ascending Japanese talent. Moreno, a fighter many think that he's been a champion a couple times in the division. Many people think he's spent and his best days are behind him. He's only 31, but he will be 6 years older. And he's got all the experience. He has every fight weaponry, has every kind of fight weaponry. But the other kid is going to be younger, faster, quicker, hungrier, and it should be very, very interesting to see how this fight goes, because Moreno, I don't think the UFC wants him to win, but they love him, and he's been nothing but gold to them. And should he win, he can be on a Noche or a Mexico card that's going to do nothing but draw. And meanwhile, Taira, a Japanese guy, if he wins this fight, he gets propelled into the top of a division that is so paper thin and so irrelevant. I can't believe we're even talking about it.
The flyweights.
That being said, it is what it is. We'll watch and see what happens in this fight. I got no clue. I love Moreno. I was here when he won the championship against Figueiredo, and I'll watch this one.
Well, I mean, according to the UFC, I'm going off of their opening odds, -102 Moreno, -118 for Tiara there. And right now it's -122 to the Japanese fighter, +102 for Moreno.
Yeah,
I don't know what you have different, but
No,
obviously
that's-
money's going toward the Japanese fighter.
It has,
Yeah.
yes. It's kind of going towards the younger Tyra, and I get that. They're saying that they think Moreno's shot.
That's what I take it. Yeah, that
Excuse me, I'm not so sure, but I lean to the Tyra side, but I love Moreno so much, and I'm a Mexican fight enthusiast from my core, so this one I just watch.
Then you got Alexandre Pantoja, Joshua Van in the co-main event here.
Well, you said that second name great. Say it again for me. That was
Joshua
perfect.
Van.
Yes,
Did I say it wrong?
you nailed it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, that one's easy.
I'm just having fun.
I
with
know. But did I nail Alexandre Pantoja is the question.
it. Absolutely.
I worked on it this
You
week.
did great on that.
And I read it.
So this Pantoja, again, what weight class is this, guys? 125.
Flyweight,
So
tiny.
it's razor thin. And what you got is on the top of the mountain, you got Pantoja. And at the mid-level of the mountain, you got all these guys. He's dominated. They're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him. They found some kid from Australia, a big, loopy, strong fighter. They threw in too early against him, and Pantoja just ate him for lunch. Pantoja, despite the fact that he is 35 years old, going to be 11 years older than Van, Pantoja is a razor blade, and he struggled and worked tirelessly for years to get recognized in the UFC. Finally has the championship, and he's nails. But this division is thin. There's not a lot of competition, and the right kind of fighter, I think Pantoja can be had. But Van may not be the right kind of fighter. He has the power, he has the will, and he has the strength, but he doesn't have the experience, and he hasn't been in with the kind of caliber that Pantoja has, so there's a little mismatch here. On the feet, Pantoja cannot allow himself to stand and take too many shots from Van, or he'll get iced. And Pantoja's good, but he's quick. And should the young kid range in or lunge in too aggressively and Pantoja gets him down or gets on his back, this fight's over. And so I think Pantoja is right, but maybe not for this raw of a young future top 3 talent in the division.
Is this a 5-rounder or a 3-rounder?
5-rounder because it's a championship.
Over under 2.5 on this, minus a 238 to the over going into this fight here. So the way you described it there, kind of.
Yeah, I think Van's going to be willing and be there, and he's going to be coming forward trying to knock him out, and eventually Pantoja going to get him down. I mean, Pantoja inside the distance, Pantoja sub, Pantoja in a parlay. That's how I view the fight.
Perfect. And then you got the main event here coming up. Peter Van from Russia here against Merab. Now look, I looked at it. See, I was so proud of me last time, and I said it right earlier.
Merab's arguably the fighter of the year this year.
Yeah.
The guy is just, and he's competing against another Russian, Makhachev. Both
he
of them
just fought
had,
like a month ago, right?
This is Merab's 4th fight this calendar year.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And for anyone other than him, I'd be screaming it's too much. And I'm not screaming, I'm saying I think it could be too much. That's an awful lot of pressure, strain, and competition. And who did he fight? Nurmagomedov, O'Malley, Sandhagen, and one other. This will be the 4th. Those are the 3 guys. Those are world-class 1, 2, and 3 guys. One in January, one in June.
But then his fight before that was O'Malley again, right?
Yeah.
So end of last year. So,
yeah, but this year, this is his 4th in a calendar year.
I was just saying that's who he's fought. He's fought. Yeah.
And the last one was 2 months ago.
Yeah. Oh, it's 2 months.
Okay,
Okay.
against Sandhagen. So he's coming back again quick. Could he be ripe? Yes. Merab won't get caught being out of shape, and he won't get caught for lack of hustle or work. But if he does get caught, or if he does slip on ice, it'll be IQ, underestimation, or maybe something like this where, hey, Merab's a human being just like everyone else, and 4 world-class competitors in a year, with the last one being just 2 months ago, that could be just a little bit too much. Now, in the first fight, Jan claimed he was hurt. Merab took him down like 20 times, and Jan got up. Merab take him down, up, down, up, down, up, down. How's this going to be any different? I don't know. We'll see. But I know we're going to get Jan's best effort. And I know this fight opened Merab minus 260, Jan plus 220. Now I'm looking and seeing Merab minus 410, 405, 4 something. Take back on Jan is in the 3s.
320.
So there got to be something for me to figure out how to do something with this fight. I haven't figured it out quite yet. I will by Friday.
Even the distance number is over 4.5 minus 395. So
yeah, so they're saying
big numbers here on this
decision.
fight. Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They're saying, all right, these guys are going decision. It's going to look a lot like last fight. Merab's going to steamroll them. All right, well, we'll see. Maybe that's the case.
For that bantamweight title fight, but 2 championship fights on this card.
Yeah, they're
coming up
feeding
this
us a little
weekend.
bit. It's a good card through and through. Good fights, good matchmaking. They're getting everybody some fights for the end of the year. Then next year we'll have a interesting hodgepodge of fights, and then we get a couple weeks off where we can focus on NFL.
Absolutely. With the playoff push coming, let's just roll into the NFL since we're running a little bit long here. I don't mind running long. Do you, Lou?
No, I can run a little long.
We obviously talked tonight about Thursday night's game here, Cowboys-Lions. This is important on
We went really long.
yeah, so many levels as well. Well, we talked football a little early too, so if you count that, we went even longer, right? So tonight's game, Robert chimed in earlier as well. Don't forget,
Our friend
623.
Robert Chalmers.
Yep, 252-6670 is our text line, or at TME Sports Show on X, folks. Hit us up there. He says Cowboys have to be favored, correct?
No, Detroit
No.
3.
3-point favorite for Detroit in this as well. He says the Lions O-line makes the Cardinals O-line look like a bunch of Hall of Famers, with the exception of Sewell. While I agree with Robert in that conception, when you have Gibbs and Montgomery running behind you, they find those holes, even if they're tiny, and they pound those holes. That's why they were trying to bring what's his name back from retirement, and then he failed his physical and not able to come back.
Yeah, I
into
mean,
this game.
Detroit's got the 5th-ranked rushing offense,
Yeah.
and you don't have that behind a shitty offensive line.
It's not as good as it's been in the past.
No,
but it's not,
no, they're missing their
compared to
center.
the Cardinals. But here's the other thing: 2 of the top 4 NFL offenses are playing tonight. On top of it, so high-scoring affair tonight, Lou. The bigger question.
I wonder. I wonder if Dallas has its way, then maybe so, because the Detroit will have to play to keep up with them. But Detroit don't want to play that way. What Detroit wants to do is take advantage of what's missing here. 7th-ranked Dallas offense by DVOA standards. 5th-ranked Detroit offense. There's even 2 good offenses we get to see. 6th-ranked Detroit defense. We get to watch a good defense. 31st-ranked Cowboy defense. Come on, who you fooling? Who you fooling here? And the game went 5.5 Detroit. Look ahead now down to 3. Everybody believing in the boys. Everybody's believing in them. And I will say this: after 3 games in 10 days, and now they got me a little scared. My fingers are burned. I'm not sure if I'm going to play this game or not, but if I did, it would be the under, because Detroit's going to have to pound it right down the belly of
54.5
that 29th ranked rushing defense. They're going to just pound that. You'll see a lot of Montgomery. Boom, boom, boom. Get the lead and put the pressure on the Cowboys.
And
that's the formula, but I don't know who
And
will
it's
follow.
not like they're playing on short rest. They played last Thursday, both teams.
Each one, yeah.
So they're not playing on short rest at all. So this isn't your typical Thursday night game.
It
because
is
they've had a
4
full
and
rest.
17 for Dallas.
I
though.
understand. Yeah, I get that side. I know. I agree with you on that. It just I did not. I liked your opinion last week on Dallas playing so short, and then adding this onto it as well. It's like, maybe we missed it by a week last week. with the Lions coming
Maybe
to
we
this.
missed it altogether. Maybe
know,
their
it's
momentum and belief is so high that they're a freight train. So
So I'm looking forward to this game tonight for so many reasons. 6:15 p.m. But then you got Sunday, right?
we teased at the break. We
Sorry, go ahead,
teased
yes.
that I was making a bet at the at the break.
Yes.
And it
I
was
forgot about
because
that.
I went to DraftKings. We're talking about Dallas. We have to break in now. So I just bet Dak Prescott 14-1 to win MVP, because if they win tonight, if they win any day, it's because their offense, and Dak has been torrid hot and leads the NFL in almost every passing category right now. If the Cowboys win tonight and then they face the next 4 games, they've got 3 wins out of those 4. They could roll right in the playoffs, and if they do, Dak has to be considered. So 14-1 Dak. I just wagered it at the last commercial break. You can
14-1.
laugh at me if you want. It's at DraftKings right now. But I before we go to another game, I wanted to at least mention what I teased.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I'd forgotten about that out there. Cowboys, by the way, after tonight, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants.
Yeah, win from that's probably a win or a loss, win or a loss.
Yeah.
Win-win. So
Yeah.
they're winning those last 2. We'll have to see what happens before then. And
Yeah.
tonight's critical if you're an under Dallas bettor on the season totals.
Yeah. Yes, it is. To say the least there. That tie helped me out. It kept me alive for another week.
Well, yes,
but
it did.
I
Didn't
just
hurt.
don't – the Cowboys aren't losing out, so that's what hurts me with that, with their 6-5-1 record here going into this weekend. So this weekend you've got Steelers-Ravens this weekend. 2 teams 6-6 fighting for that division lead. I'm just way down on the Steelers. And I'm not going to lie to you, Lou. I am way down on the Ravens. I thought Lamar and that offense would be able to kind of oversee what their defense has done this year, and that offense is worrisome. There's a lot of problems with it. You know, coming off the Bengals loss last week, Steelers-Ravens coming into this game tonight on 2 teams that at least I'm down on. Is the public down on them? Right now, 5.5-point favorites for the Ravens coming to this game, over under 42.5.
Yeah, last week Pittsburgh played at home against Buffalo. Buffalo had 10 days of rest.
Mm-hmm.
This week, Pittsburgh goes into Baltimore to play Baltimore, and Baltimore has 10 days rest. So those are bad spots for Pittsburgh playing rested teams. And look ahead line was 6.5.
So it's come down 5.5.
So it's 5.5 now. There's some belief in
I use
Pittsburgh.
I use FanDuel for our show on the NFL picks here. So for those of you, it's 5.5 on FanDuel right now. Yeah,
Why do
so
you
it's come
use
down a point.
DraftKings for one and FanDuel
Because
for another?
DraftKings, it's harder to find the NFL stuff as it is with the
Oh, so
FanDuels
he's
when I need
reading it.
for
Well,
this
I got
show.
them all right here.
Yes,
I
you
got
have it all.
Circa Sport.
Yeah.
I got the whole ball.
That's why I
wax
change
here.
it, Lou. It's for me, of course.
And I'm
My
seeing
ease.
I'm seeing 6s everywhere. There's the only 5.5s at FanDuel right
okay.
now. So you can get Pittsburgh at 6, or you got to get Baltimore laying the 6. You know, when I look DVOA on these teams, I just have again Pittsburgh's 12th defense. Baltimore they've had improvement, still 21. But can the Pittsburgh offense do anything against it? Their offense is 22. This is a division game. Pittsburgh +8 on turnover ratio. That is one thing that may give them an opportunity to stay in the game. I don't have a strong opinion.
Then Colts Jaguars coming to this 8-4, two another 8-4 teams, division rivals battling it out here for this division. 2 unexpected teams to be at this point this weekend. Colts have had some struggles lately. I mean, Jaguars had theirs earlier in the season as well. I'm interested in the how the public is playing this and if there's been any line movements on this. Right now, it's 1.5-point favorites for the Colts going into this game. Obviously, their defense took a hit. Sauce Gardner, calf strain, I think is what they're calling it last week for the Colts. So that's a loss for them coming into this. But 1.5-point faves for the Colts.
It was 2.5 a week ago, so this may be an appropriate time to consider buying the Colts low because everybody's now smart enough to know, well, they're not real and they just got beat and Houston went up there, and so everybody's bailing on the Colts. So I don't have to give 2.5 in Jacksonville now in a division game that means everything. I only have to give 1.5, and so that's a money line consideration for me. The Colts
Minus 126 right now.
I like them on paper. 21st Jacksonville offense with a quarterback that I don't know if he's really that strong an NFL quarterback against the 13 Indy D and the second ranked Indy offense against a good Jacksonville defense ranked 10th. So tight division game, more than likely low scoring, but I just see more talent on the Indy side, and I think they're ready. And if I can get them at a pick 'em minus 110, and I will by game time because there's going to be more Jacksonville action coming in, I think that's the way I'll go.
Perfect. Bears Packers this weekend, a division rival, and look at this: Bears 9-3 on the season. Packers coming off the, of course, Thursday game last week as well, playing this Sunday as well here for the Packers. 9-3-1 for them. I'm sorry, 8-3-1 for them, if my math is correct here. Packers 6.5-point favorite. No love for the Bears here.
Well, I don't know if that's
is there love? Did the number move? Is
correct.
my question.
No, it's
right?
6.5, and it's still 6.5. If anything, a couple ticks up on the total from 42.5 to 44.5. Not really a lot of weather this week. You haven't heard me talk about it. That's because there is none. But in this game, I think you have a competitive 7th-ranked Green Bay D, and I think that's a strong unit for them, playing against a Chicago offense that believes has some momentum but could be flawed, and that'll be an interesting matchup. The mismatch is the 4th-ranked Green Bay offense that nobody feels is the 4th ranked. They don't see it, and they haven't seen it, and they see the quarterback doesn't change facial expressions. He's a gambling card player, and so they think he doesn't care, and they want to bail out on him. They're playing the 25th ranked Bear defense. Oh, by the way, against the run, 29th. Yeah, I think this is a coming out party, and I think Green Bay going to boat race the Bears.
Boat race them there at 6.5. Next one I got to ask you about, local team, Rams Cardinals. Rams coming here to Arizona this weekend. 8.5-point favorites for the Rams. To me, that number is so low.
Rams are 8-4 against the spread, plus 9 in the turnover ratio. They bring the 3rd-ranked rushing offense into town to face the 20th-ranked rushing defense.
There's just no good news for the Cardinals.
Meanwhile, the Cardinals' 23rd-ranked offense faces the number 4-ranked Ram defense, and the Rams are off a loss on the road. Should be
to the Panthers.
Yeah, should be plenty upset about it. Even though they're on the road, that tightens this game up just a little bit. Look ahead line here was 9.5, and somewhere there's a believer that Arizona going to be able to keep it tight.
God bless
because
that
they're
person.
8 or 8.5. It's more than a person. It's persons, and they're betting home team division game.
Good for them.
And let's just look.
Lou, those people hate money, if I use your phrase.
Who do the Rams have next week, which sometimes matters? They have Detroit, not a big determination. So I would tease this down if I was going to use the game and get the Rams from 8 to 6 or 8.5 to 1, depending on how you want to use a teaser, and get them from giving all them points to only giving 1, so that if you win, you can win your bet and move on.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that 8.5 and I went, whoa. People have faith in the Cardinals all of a sudden against the Rams, who, even though they lost last week, they're still, and the Panthers aren't a bad team. It's
the
not
Cardinals
like they
are giving effort, and the quarterback is solid. Here's the question: why didn't the coaching staff know this was the better quarterback from the beginning?
Well, we have a lot of questions about the Cardinals coaching staff around these parts, Lou. And it's amazing that these guys work so hard to become coaches and then just fail so miserably on obvious things. It's amazing to see. Hey, Texans-Chiefs is the one I definitely want to ask you about here. Sunday Night Football coming up. People that aren't watching the Texans and paying attention to them, they have gotten good in the last 4 weeks. It's good. Like, if they're not the best team in the NFL in the last 4 or 5 weeks, they're up there, and their defense especially. And they got the Chiefs this weekend. Are people jumping off of this Chiefs bandwagon with their loss last week in Dallas, 6-6, and they just look like a broken team, an old team here that's been to the AFC Championship game a lot, played a lot of football? Are people jumping off that bandwagon? Right now, Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites.
Oh, yeah, they've jumped off, and they're full believers in Houston. And what outside good defense makes you think Houston's any good? Their
defense.
Their offense is inept.
Their defense, at least as of going into last week, their defense was number one defense in the league.
They're not going to be able to run on
weeks.
Kansas City, and I think Kansas City is going to be in a sour mood. Meanwhile, the 3rd-ranked Kansas City offense, balanced, is going to face the second-ranked Houston defense. Many think it's the first-ranked. Okay, first or second-ranked. It's all Houston D. The game's in Kansas City. Kansas City's had 10 days. This is a must-win for Kansas City. We're going to get Kansas City's best effort, and we'll see what Houston has. I think they're like a UFC fighter that doesn't know wrestling. They're too singularly dimensioned for this team at this time and this game.
Yeah, I just don't know. Just the Chiefs don't look right in any aspect of their side.
Chiefs were 5 a week ago.
Yeah, 3.5 now. Yeah, there you go. Well, we're all seeing the same thing. Let's put it that way.
I have already used the Chiefs and a couple of the other teams we talked about. Monday, I gave this teaser, 3-team, 10-point teaser was released at VSiN Monday morning. Lions, Cowboys over 43. So I took the total in tonight's game down and went over 43. Took Bills from 5.5 to plus 4.5, and took the Chiefs from 3.5 to plus 6.5. That's my teaser. I'm on a run with VSiN. I do one of these a week and have not lost one this year. And we're 13 weeks.
And you like the Bills in that one too, huh?
I like the Bills who are given 5 in their game. I like them getting 4.5. Yes, I do.
Perfect. Eagles, Chargers. Are people now Philadelphia bettors? You know, a lot of those East Coast bettors can move lines by themselves, stuff like that. Eagles are just so many problems on that team, and we're kind of waiting. Then you got the Chargers. Justin Herbert just had surgery, and we don't know if he's going to play this week. Surgery in his off-throwing hand as well going into this game. Does that affect the line at all? 8-4 teams, but lots of question marks here. Eagles are 2.5 favorites for Monday night.
Yeah, and I see a 3, and they were 1.5 on the look-ahead line. So you're seeing a little money on the Eagles. They're the better team. They have the better talent. They're a little dinged up on the offensive line, but their offensive line looks like the Graham City All-Stars next to the battered offensive line that San Diego had, or that the Chargers have. And Herbert dinged up because he has no line in front of him. This game here.
Yeah, and we don't even know if he's officially playing or not yet. So this line has a potential to move, can he take advantage?
Oh, he's
of
playing. He's playing. And you really have, by the books, you have a tight competitive game, and that's why I believe the line is about right on a neutral field. If these teams played, I'd have to say that Philly is probably 4 points, and so you give a 1 point for the Chargers home game, and it ends up 3. I'm okay with that. I think Philly's just got the better talent, and I have the Chargers in a future bet this year. They're going to have to show me a lot, and it's not because they're not a good team. It's because they're overcoming tremendous injuries that have just fallen on that offensive line.
Yeah, and it's an amazing thing to watch with them. My question on the Bills-Bengals one, just really quick here, is Joe Burrow obviously came back last Thursday, Thanksgiving. Played well, beat the Baltimore Ravens. They got the Bills this week. Is that affecting the Bengals lines at all? Or people, with Joe Burrow, especially getting that win in the first game? Right now, the Bills are 5.5-point favorites, but with Joe Burrow back, is there a possible play there with him as quarterback?
Well, they think so. The public's all over Cincinnati. They got their quarterback back, and that's going to make a huge difference to the 32nd ranked defense DVOA in the league. Get out of here. We're on Buffalo. I like Buffalo and 5.5 is. I think that's short. That should be more.
All right, perfect. So Lou, anything else on NFL or UFC for the weekend?
That's it for me.
Man, packed show here, man. We ran long overtime. I appreciate everybody hanging out for that as well. Good to have you back in studio again.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So for everybody else, we'll be back tomorrow. He's got a call. We'll be back tomorrow, folks. Come on back. McCollum on Business at 11. We'll see you then, everybody. Have a great Thursday afternoon.